Hi guys, so we're all getting a really big lucky boost with Jupiter moving into Cancer. Jupiter is exalted in Cancer. It does really well here. And that means we can manifest more of what we want, and we'll have that deep inner wisdom to do that. So I'm going to go through all the signs and what this means for you, and I'll also go over the transits and how that will be affecting us also, and what this just basically means. Okay, so we have the planet of Jupiter, which is the planet of luck, growth, expansion. It's all about the bigger dream, the bigger vision, and developing the inner faith and the inner wisdom to be able to expand to the next level. So when it's in a certain area of life, it's, in a certain house in our lives, it's looking at the big picture and how we can grow. And it's really planting the seeds with how we can do that for the next 12 years. And with it being in Cancer, that's all about focusing on the home and family and protection. And it's about that emotional wisdom too. It's really connecting to our inner self and how we really feel. And there's going to be big emotions for sure during this time. Emotions are definitely going to be bigger. And, we can use this actually for our benefit, to get really aligned in the direction that we're going in. But it's majorly about emotional authenticity. And emotional authenticity is super powerful because that gets us into alignment with our bigger direction. And I actually love how it's going to be squaring all this stuff in Aries, but we'll talk about that more so in a bit because that is truly like making us go in deep to discover what is our truth, like in and our emotions are showing us that deeper soulful truth. Emotions are about that deeper soulful wisdom that we're unaware of, but this is what kind of can connect us to our past lives and how we felt then, and soulmates, and why we feel a certain way about certain people that we just met. It's because there's that deep emotional wisdom that comes up that brings something to our awareness that we were unaware of before. And this is also us getting in tune with our ancestry and our roots and how we can possibly, grow above and beyond our roots. Because all of us, we are all expanding beyond our roots, even if you came from a perfect childhood or in which none of us really did. Like it's very rare. There's always some sort of, something that we can grow and evolve out of. But it's getting us in touch with how we can, elevate, when it comes to those emotional wounds and everything from the past and not let them, keep us stuck. So this is a big emotional cleanse, water is at the bottom of, the elements, and fire is at the top. So, with the square to Aries, it's like bringing the light to the darkness and really transforming that. That's why the Nightingale came out too, which is all about bringing the light to the darkness to like find the beauty in the darkness too, because when we do go that deep and when we do deeply feel, we can find, some sort of beauty about those experiences because it led us to a certain direction in who we are today. And it leads us to appreciating life, in a much deeper, fulfilling way. And because we get to discover what is deeply emotionally fulfilling to us, what is that deep emotional satisfaction that we want out of this life? Because at the end of the day, that's what truly matters, So we're getting in touch with that and leading more so from that place and from the heart. And, if you don't have a lot of water in your chart, and, I don't, so it's always actually kind of, I've appreciated all this water because it does really get you in touch with that. And, so you can flow, create a life that is deeply meaningful to you. This is getting us in touch with soul creativity too. You can always tell, when it comes to music or art or, anything that's truly beautiful, that is like where soul creativity is. Because soul creativity is all about just that true authenticity. It's not about faking anything with, in yourself to like make everybody else happy. That's why the best artists, they stay so true to your vision, because we want to see through your eyes. We want to see through like the way you see the world and discover, just that purest form, of creativity that comes from the soul. And that is true, beauty. It doesn't have to be actually beautiful or, on the surface beautiful. And I have a channel, it is channel 12 actually, that can see the true beauty. And if someone is truly expressing from their soul and from their emotions, that and that's what leads to like more authenticity. You can tell if it's just real or not, because it has that deep soulful like wisdom attached to it, and you can feel it, you can notice it. Like, say Picasso's art, at all different stages of his life, it was all different across his entire, career and everything, but that's where he was at, and that's where his soul was evolving in all of those periods. And that's why you can, get lost in any of his works of art, because, they were all just, true to what his soul was speaking to him at that time and at that moment. And you can Adele has the Nightingale channel too, and that's why you can find beauty in the dark. You can find beauty in the darker aspects in life and the hard things that we go through. But there's something about that deeper soulful resonance that really touches people and touches everybody. That's why all these AI movies and everything, they're just like not really, I don't know. I feel like I hope that dies off a lot with Jupiter and Cancer, because, like for a movie to be truly impactful, you have to feel. And that's the whole thing. That's why, and yeah, there has been some Marvel movies that have done really well, but they make you feel. Even Guardians Guide to the Galaxy, you really deeply feel. And even in the last one, with that. But if the movie doesn't have any emotion to it, you can tell. And, that's where AI can't really get to. That's why it's all very important for us to be so true to what, we deeply feel. And feeling free to express that, and that's where the power is going to be. So us not being afraid to like get to that deeper core of our emotional authenticity, even if it's good, even if it's bad, like even if it's crazy, emotional authenticity will win at the end of the day. And, it just gets you in alignment in every aspect. It gets you to create a foundation that is truly, satisfying to you, because Cancer is the home life. It's the home, the family, it's the close relationships. It's what you need for nurturing and security. And it is getting you in touch also with your intuition, and that's going to be the most important thing, is our intuition in the upcoming years, for that compass. We don't want to be too attached to the technology. We don't want to be too attached to what the outside is telling us always. When you can't, this is turning all of our gifts on in a major way. Clairvoyance came out. So, and I guess water scrying is a thing. It's funny because she's water scrying in this too. And that's very Jupiter in Cancer. It's all getting us in, we can powerfully get in touch with our intuition, so divine feminine needs to majorly come online during this. And it's really powerful with the divine feminine, and to have a divine feminine in your life, because that is where the new vision is. That's where you have to develop more of that trust and that faith and that inspiration, and tuning into your inner compass with knowing where to go. And the thing with intuition and reading energy in general is that it does change, and it does, it's not always the same. Energy changes by day to day to day, and that does have to do with where we are internally, at that moment, because we can jump to higher timelines, we can jump to lower timelines, because we are all on our own separate timelines, and it all does start with us, with what version of certain people that we're going to get in a specific moment or a situation. And it all starts with your own inner alignment. Everything that you see on the outside is just a reflection of what's going on in the inside. So if you've been meaning to work with your intuition, this is going to be a really powerful time to do that, so you can get in tune with your own gifts. Because again, this square to, Saturn and Neptune, this is really going to clear us out. All the blocks and all the distortions that have been stopping us from really trusting like how we're feeling. I think we're going to be forced to feel, and it's just not going to be easy to suppress it anymore. We're going to have to really listen, because we don't know why we're feeling in a certain way and why we don't want to do something at a specific moment. But it's always when you don't trust your intuition and you look back and you're like, I knew it. 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 And, so we can develop that trust and, faith in ourselves, because I feel like our sixth sense is actually like our first sense, but, we just get, blocked out from it in so many ways, by suppressing our emotions, by all the programming that we've been through, and all of that. So this is also kind of, getting us in tune with our own, natural flow, so we can all manifest our visions in the easiest way possible. So grateful optimism came out, and it came out reversed. So we're getting in touch with, being grateful in the moment. So we're going to be deeply in touch with our emotions in a certain way. And I think this is going to really create a lot of motivation to take action with how we want to feel. Maybe there's been ways that, our feelings are amplified now, and we've put up with certain situations or whatever for long enough that they're gonna be amplified. So we're gonna be like, you know what? I'm done feeling this way. I want to feel this way because I can feel this way. And it was just like the past programming or whatever, that was stopping me from, really acknowledging how I feel and how I want to feel. So we will all kind of be taking more action in a direction that kind of elevates how we feel on a daily basis. And we're going to want to focus more on those connections that are, truly deeply meaningful to us. And we're going to focus on community and friends, and, just letting our heart lead the way with whatever connections are, soulfully, satisfying in that way. Because, yeah, we're going to look at the bigger picture when it comes to home, family, those close connections, and wanting to expand with that. And our philosophies will change a bit when it comes to home and family and those close relationships. And what's really soulfully meaningful to you? What do you want? So we might move during this time. We might want to live in a completely different place. We might switch up our relationships if they haven't been, really just satisfying on that deeper level. So let's get into the transits. So the ingress happens on June 10th. First moves into Cancer, and I think we'll be feeling this, pressure, right away. Again, we're going through a time of massive spiritual evolution, and when water and fire transits happen, it's steam. We're going to the depths. We're really transforming all of, the deeper insecurities and fears and emotions that have kind of kept us stuck in certain patterns, so they can release, so we can recognize them, so we can be freed from that. And right away, Jupiter is going to be squaring Saturn. So this is going to be where Jupiter wants to expand and bring a lot of luck and prosperity and really focus on our feelings. There's going to be some sort of block, some sort of authority could be in the way or some sort of responsibility. There's just like a slowdown. But luckily, this is pretty fast. We're only going to be feeling this for June. It's not going to be nearly as long as it was with Jupiter and Gemini, where Jupiter wasn't even doing well. And there wasn't, a lot of growth and expansion because Jupiter and Gemini doesn't do very well. And that went on for way longer. So we only have to deal with this for June. And this might cause a lot of frustrations. This might cause a lot of, redirections with our overall direction that we were going, because maybe we do notice at a deeper soulful level with, what is important to us. And, there could be certain structures that are dissolving away at this time because we're so in tune with how we're feeling. So if this is a redirection, it is going to lead towards a lot more expansion later because Jupiter makes amazing aspects after this. So it's just like a halt in progress before we can really expand and be, in more alignment with what is the healthiest direction for us. Because the rabbit came out, and when the rabbit comes out, that's frantic energy. The rabbits, they like scurry around, and in the book, they, it talks about the rabbits talking together, and they're like, "Oh, what if a hawk, swoops down and eats me?" And the hawk was listening, and he's like, "Oh, what a great idea, and I'll do that." So when the rabbit card comes out, it's all about who are we grouping up with, and who are we, connecting with on a regular basis. That's kind of leading to this frantic energy of just being kind of all over the place, scurrying around, and it's just not useful. So we're purging this energy. And it's funny, like in the last Saturn and Neptune video, like this also reminds me of like the 80s, like Wall Street, like cokehead energy a little bit, like screwing around, needing to be busy at all costs, and just like, just liking the frantic energy almost, but not really accomplishing and, going in the most fulfilling direction. So I think this is like what's washing away. We're getting rid of a lot of fears and a lot of, the anxieties that were misaligning us, because the moon reverse came out right next to it. So that's like deeper elevations. That's the deep subconscious that, was, holding us or blocking us in a certain way, where it's going to lead to more clarity and more clear thinking and more groundedness and more like just attunement with our core. So we can get rid of the clutter and whatever's like causing that frantic energy in the first place. And, recognizing maybe where we were kind of like leaning towards escapism, because escapism can happen in so many ways. Yeah, it can be drinking, it can be drugs, it can be being a workaholic, it can be spirituality even, and being in Delulu land and not really grounding your manifestations into reality. Because Jupiter in Cancer is all about being in the present moment and not looking to, far in the future or wallowing in the past. I mean, yeah, you got to wallow in the past to like clear that out and everything, but it's going to be more so like a slowdown. So we're grateful in our everyday life with what we have, and being really connected to that in our inner world, and getting more in tune with that inner vision before we move forward. So we have more faith, and so we have more hope and optimism with where we're expanding to and what's truly meaningful to us. Because what's truly meaningful to us is never anything like massive and gigantic and like a super unattainable, So maybe there's a lot that we can get rid of and just kind of clear away, so we know what's truly meaningful to us in our daily lives and focus more so on that. But this can get rid of a lot of self-doubts and, a lot of like maybe where we were pushing too hard. With the South Node in Virgo, yeah, just getting rid of the workaholics, the workaholism, whatever, and focusing too much on the material, like needing things to be organized and a certain way, and just pushing too hard, where we can really focus on our health, and slowing down, and focusing more on how we want to feel on a daily basis, because that'll lead to the most expansion and the most satisfying life. Because the Eight of Wands came out reversed too, so maybe there is some sort of disturbing news, and maybe there is some sort of like extra stress or something that comes up, but this is going to be like, okay, we need to slow down. Like either way, you're going to need to slow down and kind of like get into that depth of yourself to recognize what's important, and find that vision within yourself, with that the clairvoyance card coming out. It's going to make us realize maybe where we might be overly impulsive, with certain things, where we were, taking action from a place that was like, just go, 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 act, act, act. Because acting from a higher place, in a higher vibrational place, is always going to be way more impactful than frantic energy, just that frantic action. Like, so getting into that true, like heartfelt, like action is good, just leads to a lot of smoothness and a lot of flow in your everyday life, versus that stress action and that impulsive action. And, yeah, just being overly stressed for no reason. So I think, this will like purge a lot of that and make us kind of realize, at a deeper level, it's kind of like a slowdown so we can move fast later, and that's always super important. Slow down to get within and get aligned first, to move way, way faster later. So maybe during this time, like recognize where you can get into that deeper soulful alignment to take that faster action, instead of being all over the place. Yeah, some sort of wall, some sort of block, and it just looks frustrating as all hell. And looks like it's going to impact us more so emotionally, and, be very frustrating in that way. And this might lead to a lot of revelations of the past, why we're taking action in a certain way that might be fear-based, that might be just a lower vibrational way of taking action, so we can recognize where, we can just be in alignment with our true core now to go fast. Okay. Oh, and I think this is going to unveil a lot of, just history in general, where the divine feminine was like dimmed down on purpose. And this is definitely bringing the divine feminine back into her power. I think this will reveal a lot with religion, with why we've been in a patriarchal society with religion, where the divine feminine can kind of come back online in a very powerful way right now, to see how we can all actually be way more empowered, so we can all trust like our inner vision, and have deeper faith with that, because the feminine, and we all have feminine energy, does hold the wisdom. We don't need to look at these outside structures for that wisdom. Everything that we need is actually already inside of us. So in a couple days after, then it squares Neptune. So this just looks kind of frustrating also. This just, again, looks like steam. Like we might even be over elated with like our ability to achieve and wanting to go, and looking at like how powerful like we can be, and just being like super delulu excited about that. And then the square is like, yeah, also, very optimistic and excited. And we can be like after the block, at least we can be delusionally like excited about something. But at the same time, this looks majorly like a spiritual awakening, how we can, kind of come into our own realizations, and, kind of go through that emotional process where maybe we are like crying a lot, and maybe we are feeling a lot, so we can come to that clarity, because that's how we'll transmute everything, is by feeling it, like feeling the good, feeling the bad, feeling crying, and then you just come to that like that grounded clarity within you, and then you know more of what you need to know and what direction you need to go in. Like just the square is making us deeply realize, our emotional experiences from the past, and they're all being brought up to the surface. Like, so we have that like deep emotional clarity of who we are now, who the fuck we are now, and what is our faith in ourselves and our excitement and the adventure that we want to go on now, because we know we can do it, and we all know we came here for more. And when you get in touch with that vision of what you thought you could possibly achieve, when we're all kids, we can really just dream and be so excited about life and where we're going. And it's kind of, I think we can definitely get in tune with a lot of that now, and, just recognize how powerful we are from going through all of those crazy experiences from the past, that and what we've been through and what we've conquered and overachieved, and who can we be now, and we'll have this internal emotional like knowledge of like where we can expand to next and what is truly meaningful to us now. And all about having that bigger vision of who we came here to be, and almost getting back in tune with that, because there was maybe a lot of ways that we went through something and we just put that off as a absolutely no, like that chapter's done and there's no way I could do that. And there's, maybe we put ourselves just on autopilot because we like didn't like recognize like, yeah, we can just pick it up back up at any time, and we can go and we can like do it. Like you're never too old, actually. And there's all these like rules that we come up with that stop us from going after what we really want to go after and living the life that we really want to live, when we can do that still, but it is up to us, and it's up to who we want to be, and not heavily like releasing where we maybe felt like we need to make everybody else happy. We can get in touch with that vision that really excites us the most and be like, why am I not doing that? Why did I just say like, no, maybe like, even if you want to be a superhero, you can actually go be a superhero. Like I love, I don't even know if they're still doing that, but there was like a group in Portland, they all dressed up as superheroes and decided to, do the cops job or the rescuer's job, because, they weren't, they had a lack of people, or cops like showing up to bad situations and all of that. And we're actually going to need more and more of that, during this time with the structures falling away. So if you do want to be a humanitarian, if you do want to be a superhero, if you do want to, whatever you really want to do, and what it is that deeper soulful desire pulling you in a certain direction, you can do that. And now it's about just washing all that shit away that stopped you by being defeated in life, to be like, fuck yes, I'm going to go do that now. And yeah, it's going to be messy, and it's going to be kind of maybe an emotional cry fest for a lot of people, and healing and everything, but that's so we can be really just empowered and motivated. And this is just getting, we're going through that solar plexus mutation. So we get empowered and we have that life force with going after our own desires and our own personal fulfillment. Because without that, we're not going to have a lot of life force. So we're getting in tune with what gives us that passion, what gives us that drive, what adventure do we really want to go on? Because the temple path came out, like this is the spiritual path. Like the spiritual path, like they make it sound so boring. Like, oh, you go like, yoga, sit on a rock, meditate. But the spiritual path is literally just life. It's literally just living that most fulfilling life that you possibly can. And that's it. I love how David Bowie talks about, God and everything. And he was just in tune with it. It's source, it's us getting in tune with like what we came here to do. And we came here to create. We came here to like, just live. We came here to like go on adventures and everything and really experience. So this is definitely kicking us off on the Wheel of Fortune, which is some sort of lucky timeline and, towards opportunity and fulfillment and, where we can grow fast. This is getting us in touch with that destiny timeline that is going to be just recognize where the doors are, slam shut, where what was not aligned for us in the first place, so we can release the karma that's not fulfilling us anymore, release that, what we're really done with, and where we can embrace the change, where we can be empowered and, see the opportunity. Because as long as we're elevated and believing in ourselves, then we'll see the opportunity, we'll see the doors open, and we'll see like where we can keep on going to evolve and like enjoy life and, not be defeated. So this looks like it's majorly like making us take action that is in alignment with the feminine energy, with our inner vision, with, our inner faith and, trust, because two of wands and three of wands came out, and I love that two of wands came out. That's kind of like the that is the passion card, that is like the hookup card or whatever, but it's like going towards the fulfilling partnerships that light that spark, that light that fire and that passion, and those are the most deeply fulfilling relationships. Those are the relationships that your soul is calling you to. And it's just energetic, like we can't explain passion sometimes, and we can't, like, who gives us that passion and who gives us that, like, that passion. But it is an energetic thing. It is our soul recognizing kind of more of us and what we need to realize more of about ourselves to be the most empowered version of ourselves. So it is like, we're going to recognize more of those relationships and, for soulful growth and evolution. And, this will kind of, make us look out at the horizon and the world and maybe want to travel and, what is giving us ambition? What is that thing that we want to go after that can give us that feeling of achievement and that satisfaction to achieve, because it's such, nothing will give you a better like feeling than achievement. I feel like, I don't know, just achieving those deeper soulful things that you want to achieve, and then getting there. Like we're going to be looking for that feeling, wanting to achieve, wanting to grow, like the fact that, or the society thing, like you need to just buy a house, sit there with somebody, settle down, like that is actually not what our souls want. Some souls want that, but not all of us came here for that. So it's kind of us finding like what is going to be that deep soulful, satisfaction of what we want to go conquer, what we want to go achieve, what where we can be more correctly orientated, with like our true soulful self and what we want with our, or I'm tired of saying soulful, our true selves and what we truly want. And we'll see, I think we'll be optimistic enough to see like the opportunities and where we can possibly advance. And, it is going to be hard work. Saturn's here. We have to believe in ourselves, and we're going to, the best way to just overcome this karma is like keep believing in yourself, keep looking at the adventure. It's not going to be easy. Life's not supposed to be easy just because we're in the spiritual thing now. It just gives you that motivation and the knowledge to keep on expanding and keep on growing and to put in that effort and to, be competitive with yourself. Like stop looking at everybody else, be competitive with yourself, because that does give you that like motivation and that satisfaction that you did that, you achieved, you got that money, you got like that life that you really want, and you are advancing and evolving, and that just gives you so much like excitement. So after the frustration that happens in June and, we get redirected, we have to let go of stuff. We just get into our own personal alignment in a very powerful way. Jupiter is going to be trining the North Node. So this is like, wow, okay, this is like the destined direction that we're going in for soulful growth and evolution. Because when we're going towards the North Node, everything is easy. This is the path. This is the path like we were just fated to go in. And like we are, we all get to where we're supposed to be eventually, you know. There's just some sort of alignment here. There's some sort of ease. And, we're just in alignment with fate and destiny. And Pisces is definitely about the bigger dream, the bigger vision. It's also about faith and trust and surrender and unconditional love. So it's maybe, us just being able to surrender a little bit more, able to just go with the flow a bit more and to prioritize alignment first and to just like trust like that we're all kind of being cosmically directed, in unseen ways that we don't even know and we can't even comprehend. But like this is kind of like an easy like growth and evolution with where we're going. And I love this on 11/11, Jupiter is going to be trining Saturn. So there's something really solid and really stable, coming up like right away. Right before Jupiter retrogrades, and I love how it's on 11/11. And you kind of see that all, more and more now where there's these special portal days, but there's something like magical also happening on the portal day. And it's like, oh, yeah, everything's just like connected. And yeah, so yeah, there's something like really solid, really stable. And it is, in alignment with, where you're going for that destined soulful growth. And yeah, there's some sort of reward here, some sort of karmic reward too. So I really like that. And you don't have to try for it. The universe is just like, here you go, here it is. And you were just going along. So I love that. And I wanted to go over the gene keys too, because gene keys always help us recognize the highest, most elevated ways to kind of embrace a zodiac sign. So we'll recognize the highest expression of Cancer and where we usually get caught in the lower actions so we can embrace the higher. So I love with Jupiter squaring Neptune and Saturn, this is going to happen in the 15th gate. So the 15th gate is all about experiencing extremes, the highs and the lows. So if you have this natally, you're supposed to be experiencing the extremes, the emotionally and going on that emotional roller coaster because that gives you that deeper emotional wisdom that you can convey to others so they have this in-depth understanding of why they should go in a certain direction or should not go in a certain direction, or just like that knowing, that we all kind of need that is useful. But this is also useful for getting in touch, with expressing art in a certain way too. Because when you have that deep understanding of emotions, you can, put that, like express that in your art and everything. And you can see that everything has a value. The highest experiences have a value, but so do the lowest experiences. They do have a value because you just have to come to that point of acceptance, that we are all here on a soulful journey. And, we all had to go through crazy situations, you know, because we're on that soulful journey. But if you get stuck in those like low experiences, then you keep yourself stuck, so you have to get to that point of acceptance. So you can, kind of just bring light to the shadow, actually, because when we try to just shut out the shadow, that's how more shadow happens. Like, oh, we don't talk about that. We like, you just stay silent and nobody talks about it so that all the shadow just keeps on happening over there. Like when you can actually shine a light through the shadow, bring awareness to it and, recognize the shadow. But also at the same time, we have to realize like where like staying in our safety zone at the same time would be diluting us. We would, by not participating in the highs and the lows and just staying in our comfort zone, then we're enabling ourselves to not really experience life. we're just like allowing ourselves to be sedentary and to die faster, actually. And, then we also like kind of suppress ourselves where we create drama about all the little things. And you can see, people do this all the time, like especially people that like don't let themselves live. Um, I don't know. I'm laughing because there's a certain family, like they're a very wealthy family, and they can just live a very comfortable life and have all the luxuries and all the money in the world. But what they do for fun is create drama, like in their personal lives, and they just thrive off the drama. And they just keep on creating the drama, keep on creating the karma and the loops that you get stuck in instead of finding those, the higher highs and the lows, like going on the adventure and finding what's actually deeply fulfilling and going on the, enjoying those highs and the lows, because there is something like when you have so much appreciation for getting so far that you can cry about the highs, too. So, but it's all about like, embrace, like not being scared of the highs and the lows. So you can like go after what's deeply fulfilling and what you're actually here for. Um, but and when you go through, like if you do have a placement here, you are a mirror. You are meant to be the mirror of, that emotion, because you'll be able to see and you'll be able to recognize what somebody's going through. So you have that wisdom within yourself and you mirror it to them, because there's something about like that energetic exchange or, just that knowing that you can mirror, what they see, and you can open up other people's eyes because you can see all of life. You see the beauty of all of it and just accept it as what it is, instead of making it more, making it less. It is like just the beauty of life. So I love that, for this actually with what we're going to be going through. We're definitely going to be going through the highs and the lows, and we have to just accept that that is a part of life. And then that's gate 52 is clarity with meditating. When you feel like there's so much stress around and you are all over the place, the gift is actually restraint, because especially after what we just went through, there is going to be a power with being able to meditate, being able to go within, being able to find that center of calm within you and listening to your heart and your higher self. And, focusing, you can prioritize. When you give yourself time to motivate, you let yourself not act frantic and go start all these other fires and just create more drama around you. Instead, you meditate, you get centered within yourself, and you can prioritize what's most important and what's least important. And you can just, go through them in the best way possible. And that just creates alignment. That creates, that makes you able to create the most easy flow for yourself. So you can just focus on the right now. You didn't need to focus too far in the future. You don't need to focus too far in the past. You don't need to let these overwhelming emotions kind of direct your attention all over the place, because your attention is power. So you can focus your attention on the present moment and what you can control now. Release what you've been juggling that doesn't actually matter, where you can declutter, and where you can take the most powerful action in the present moment. And calm your mind. Sometimes like we don't see clearly when we're afraid and when we're chaotic and when we're all over the place. We just don't see clearly. So it gets you grounded so you can calm the mind in order to see. And you have the ability to stop time and actually create bliss, over just reaction, reaction, reaction. So Jupiter will be there. This gate is from 3 to 9. So yeah, Jupiter will be there until end of July, and then it moves into gate 39, which is 29 or 9 degrees to 15 degrees. So 29 is, it's our root pressure. So there is a little bit pressure here because we're looking for security and stability and foundation. And this is what prods people into action, to create more, to create more of a foundation, to create more of what's going to be nurturing to us and provide more stability and security. So, in the negative way that this can be used, because this is a deeply intelligent, emotionally intelligent gate, is us taking action just to provoke, and this gate can be really good at provoking people just because they know how to, hit that that emotional center that will really like get people to just really while out. And that's what this gate does when it's bored. It wants that emotional reaction. It wants to cause the drama, and it creates that excitement to just get that reaction. Or this gate, when it's healthy, it has that deep emotional intelligence that it takes an action and says something to elevate people, because you can see where people are at emotionally and where they're in their funks. And, you can say something or take an action that elevates everybody versus just doing it because you can and to create drama. So it's kind of recognizing our power to just be here and to elevate everybody and to wake everybody up and move everybody into higher states of consciousness and to liberate everybody, to make everybody recognize their ability to liberate themselves, versus with their own inner knowing, just by helping people see a little bit more. You might have some emotional like wisdom about some sort of situation where you can give a lot of clarity, versus like if you hate that person and they're your enemy, just getting right in there and like provoking that to create drama. So easier said than done. But if you want to free yourself, you got to do it that way. So Jupiter's there until, mid-August. And then we move into gate 53, which is nice because this is what trines the North Node. So this is where we can realize, and this gate is all about overcoming immaturity. So when the shadow of this is being immature and staying immature and not allowing them. And we can be immature by like just staying in our comfort zone and not allowing the new things. Like it's kind of like sticking with the same food or sticking with just what we know currently. And, it can become very obsessive because it's all trying to stay controlled in the bubble of what we already know. And, it's like, oh, maybe I'll go do that and maybe I venture out one day. And then no, it decides to not. And it decides to like shut down and wanting to start new things and maybe starting them, but not completing them. But yeah, not finishing. We need to start and so this is where it's really powerful, where we can actually start something that is in alignment with our soulful growth and how we feel now and how we want to feel and how we can easily feel and go in a certain direction for soulful growth and evolution. And finding the gift, which is expansion. So recognizing how we want to feel and what we want to feel more of and going out of our comfort zone. And it's being us. So this is where we can kind of take shortcuts towards our destiny and our higher vision, because this gate is all about having that intuitive knowing too. It's like getting that intuitive knowing so we know how to expand in the fastest way and we can actually take the shortcut. But we have to just do it and we have to complete it and we have to just, go with it. So knowing, and we know what will expand us and what won't expand us. So it's also listening to our intuition in that way by saying no to things that won't expand us so we can be in direct alignment with what's going to expand us the most. And just knowing what's aligned with us and what's not aligned. And we're going to have some deep intuitive like knowing with what is and what isn't. So we can know what will expand us the most. Start it, go in that direction and complete it, and know that it can be effortless, actually. Because when it's aligned, it can be effortless and it can be just that soulful growth that's like an easy flow. And yeah, it's like a shortcut. It won't take as much energy and it won't take as much time because when you're in that true alignment with yourself, you just, there's a knowing. So this is a very powerful time to start something that will expand you into a lot more growth. It's there until 20 degrees. And with 20 to 26 degrees, this is all about gate 62. And, this is where this is the same gate that Jupiter's going to be trining Saturn with. And this is amazing because this is actually about logical expression. It's being in touch with that deep, soulful wisdom and soulful knowing, but being able to logically express it because there is like a very, just like some deep intelligence, with this gate. But where the shadow of this gate is wanting to just like uh, give the details and the information and bombard people with it and go, go, go. Because this is a projected channel, so you can also see exactly where somebody needs to fix something and what is exactly wrong with possibly, a current structure or a current way that something is. But it's about kind of like waiting to be invited for that information, instead of bombarding people who aren't ready for it. Like, it's kind of like this spiritual journey. Like some people are ready to wake up at a certain time and they're ready to hear it, and you got to wait for that moment because you bombarding people with all of it, even though it's so exciting, it gets people like, they're like, yeah, okay, but they can't really take it in, until they're ready. So you can express something that's you just have immense wisdom about in an easy, logical way to understand. But in the shadow of this, there's like a need to be the smartest person in the room. There's a need to like just like fix everything and to get everything at this higher expression and this higher elevation of where everything could be. But also it doesn't really want to be wrong. So sometimes it wants to preach and preach and preach and, is fine with making people look stupid, because it's very just dominating, it's projected. So in the shadow part, that is all coming from fear, that it's needing to like control and to preach and to seem like the smartest because it's all just coming from fear because there's a deep insecurity of being seen as dumb or being seen as wrong, so we can all be along this spiritual journey, but we have to all be open to what's not known, because if you think you know everything, then you're not open to that unknown. And there is so much more unknown. And there will, as long as we're here, there will be always, 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 always way more to be, way, way more to know. Nobody knows it all. And if they think they know it all, stay away from them because they don't. Like nobody knows it all here. Okay. So, and so avoid the need to preach around this time, a need to, just give all the information and all the wisdom that you have, especially, emotionally. You got to wait till it's being asked for. And then, yeah, then you have valuable information. You have valuable information for the people who want it and the people who want the details in the easiest way of understanding this very complex thing that can be expressed in a very simple way so people understand it, so be precise with your words and you can infuse your words with a deeper understanding emotionally. If you have this gate natally, this is also such a beautiful gate for creativity because there are just some simple ways in movies, like when you watch the intentionality Intentionality. When you watch the intentionality of like a certain scene, that not much is being said, and not much is like, yeah, just even conveyed, but you can get such a deep, complex knowing, like just from seeing it, just the way it's put together and the way like it is portrayed, like it just gets such a more complex, like soulful thing across versus what's even being said. So yeah, this is such a beautiful gate and I love it. But and I'm jealous if you have it. Okay, and then there's gate 56, which Jupiter won't touch until next year. But I love this because I'll talk about it anyway. It is the gift of storytelling. The gift of the storyteller. You can, spread a lot of wisdom to people, again, that want to hear it. But the shadow is fabrication. It's needing to add the drama, add, the extra oomph where you actually don't need it. All human experiences, like you don't actually need to add a lot of drama, because if you just get to the purest form of the experience, it has enough of that storytelling. If you have this gate, yeah, the shadow is wanting to add drama because it's restless. It wants to indulge in the petty things and just create more drama and beef up the stories just to beef up the stories. But the gift of this is the enrichment, to find that soulful enrichment and focusing more so on the value of what you want to convey and the wisdom that you want to convey of the story versus the drama. And this is where like movies have that like, enrichment too. Like after you've seen a movie and you're just like, oh, you just feel like, you got like a part of yourself that you didn't even know was there. And you're just like, you feel like so good after seeing it. And it's not manufactured. That's why kind of reality TV, like in the first episodes when it's not too manufactured, is actually fulfilling in a way too, because it's just like life experiences of what people go through and then you can tell when they start really manufacturing it, and it's just like, why? It was so much better the way it was when it was simple. Like the Real Housewives of New York, like in the early seasons, like they were already batshit and like doing what they're doing. And then the latest season, which got canceled, they just fabricated it. They put all these people on because they thought this is what people wanted to see. And, it failed. Nobody watched it. I didn't watch it. So you convey on the value of the story. You really get in tune with the wisdom, and you shift your focus onto that, onto those deeper values, into that deeper wisdom, so you can get to that deeper emotional fulfillment. And that's the truth that people want. People want that deep emotional truth, that people can be mesmerized by, just by the way you can put things together, also in the way you create, in the way that you can emotionally express a scene, or the details and the emotional depth that you can reach. Like that's, if you have this gate, you just have that. It's a very creative gate, and I'm jealous if you have this too, because that's really beautiful. Okay, guys, so I'm going to go through all the signs and, tell you what this means for you. Scorpio, let's start out with you, because why not? So you're being blessed. Jupiter is in your 9th house, and that makes a trine to your ascendant. So this automatically puts you on a lucky timeline, on a higher timeline. This is a Dharma house too. So it's you getting more in touch with your meaning and purpose, and getting in alignment with that, so you can find easier expansion just pretty much everywhere else in life. So you might be going towards some topics, some knowledge pursuit, some spiritual pursuit, whatever you're just really being called towards. So you might start learning something new. You might go back to school. You might take a class. You might get into some sort of spirituality. You could be getting into astrology or human design, or, any of those, just knowledge expanding kind of things that can broaden your world. You could also be traveling a lot. Whatever knowledge is power. So whatever you feel like learning, whatever you feel drawn towards, knowledge is power. And the more you know, the more, options that you have with going in a certain direction. So you'll be planting those seeds with what can possibly expand your world and, what direction you can go in. And with Jupiter squaring Saturn right in the beginning, there might be blocks with work. You might be excited to travel, or you might be excited to go back to school or learn something, something that expands like your world, but there's some sort of responsibilities, and this could be responsibilities in your everyday life. This could be too busy of a schedule. This could be, a routine that you need to switch up, or work you need to delegate so you can go in this overall expanded direction. Maybe you do want to expand your business, but you need to hire somebody, or you need to change, directions and switch something up. This is going to create some sort of pressure so you can get into, realignment. And then later, when Jupiter's trining the North Node, it's like, okay, well, this is the direction I was meant to expand in, because you're getting in alignment with whatever you've been working on in your fifth house. And the fifth house is all about creativity. It's your kids. It's, responsibility with kids, because Saturn's out of here finally. So there's not as much like blocks or responsibility. There can be an easier flow towards creative projects and, with your kids. And the fifth house is also just fun. You can have fun again. There's like a weight lifted off. It's easier to have fun and travel the world and find more love in the relationships that are really deeply fulfilling. And there could be relationships coming your way that expand your world. And, this is a great time to travel and meet somebody abroad that's, a soulmate. So that's really fun. And then with Jupiter, that's going to be trining Saturn. There's also some sort of finishing up here. Something solid, something that you've been working on. There's some sort of karmic reward that is like really fulfilling at the end of the day. So let's pull some cards and see what else Scorpio needs to know. But I love when Jupiter was in my ninth house. It is such a fun transit. It's like, after being in the eighth and you were just dealing with a lot of the internal stuff and responsibilities and, just work possibly, and just the heavier stuff with relationships. It's like, oh, you're free now. You did the work and all your chakras are kind of spinning the right way and you're just much more in alignment and expanding. So I love that. The deer. So you get to be really in flow with your feminine energy. You're going to be so in tune with your intuition and so just naturally, like kind of in your comfort zone with being able to listen to your intuition and flowing in the right directions. So yeah, there will be some sort of achievement, some sort of achievement after all the hard work that you've been doing. You've put in a lot of effort in this area of life. This could also be your business, because a lot of the times, like if business is fun for you, you could be receiving some sort of rewards for all your creative ideas and everything. And now you're going to be able to really stand firm and be able to have a balance, maybe in all aspects of life, where things, maybe you were too work focused. Now you can prioritize like fun and, you're just getting lucky in general. So you can have a little bit more fun and, kind of, it's not all just work and grind and hermit mode with the eighth house stuff. And it looks like you're getting in tune with some sort of gift. The oyster came out. So some sort of gift that you naturally have. Sometimes that happens when Jupiter's in the ninth house too. You get back into alignment with what you came here for first place, and it's just something you're naturally good at. And it's all about you having the courage now to just put it out there into the world and receive the rewards from it. So yeah, you're just in connection to your higher self. You know, seventh chakra came out, so you're receiving a lot of downloads and just nudges from your higher self, like this direction. This is going to be the most expansive. Go there. That leads to some sort of victory. And yeah, it's just really, really easy, easy and fun when Jupiter's in the ninth house. So enjoy this time. It's just frustrating in the beginning, and you'll really be feeling it after June and receiving all the rewards. All right, thank you so much, Scorpio. Okay, Sagittarius. So Jupiter, which rules you, is in the eighth house. So this isn't the most comfortable house to be in because you are going to be doing a lot of the in-depth shadow work. The eighth house is all about getting into those deep emotional wounds and like healing, but you're freeing yourself. Out of all the planets to have in the eighth house, Jupiter is there because it actually does like get your energy in alignment. It cleanses all your chakras. So you're just more in tune with your natural vibration. And that is what makes us the most lucky in life because it turns our vibration all the way on so we can be broadcasting our own music out into the world and just be like, internally deeply fulfilled with our core and where we're going. So, we're just in alignment with our manifestations in life. And I think with Jupiter square Saturn right off the bat, it definitely does look like you possibly could be going through some sort of Kundalini awakening or something. Jupiter in the eighth square, Saturn and Neptune in the fifth. It could be just like, some sort of like intense purge, like right off the bat in June. But be grateful for that because it's actually like amazing when that does happen. Just feminine energy, I guess, be aware, like if you do go through an intense enough Kundalini awakening, usually you do get all the way in touch with the higher chakras and living in la la land for a while, but just be aware it comes back down. And that's when you feel like the lowest, like after feeling the high and the energy and yeah, like just feeling so good. It comes back down and then you're like, oh, and it just feels like you're like in a pit or something and you're like, it's just a lot. And then, but after that, you're free and much more in alignment with who you truly are and, loving all parts of yourself. And that's the point of the eighth house is to go into the shadow and go into who you truly are at that core level and, owning it besides like looking, facing the projections from other people and recognizing where you did dim yourself down, where you can be more authentic to, your inner being and embrace that part of yourself. And it does make you just more powerful. So on a good note though, extra money coming in. Money's going to be really good. The eighth house is kind of like bulky money. So like your investments and, clients could be paying you more. You could be receiving more passive income, royalties. If you're buying or selling a house, that could be beneficial. You could be, getting a pay raise, like receiving some sort of boost in your salary. It's a great time to renegotiate any contracts, anything like that. Also, your spouse could be doing well. So any partnerships, you could be getting, just receiving more because your spouse is doing well. And yeah, and when Jupiter is going to be, okay, so first Jupiter squaring Saturn. So maybe there's, want to have more fun or something, but Saturn's here now. So there's some sort of block, there could be some sort of block with like intimacy. This is where you would face challenges when it comes to your relationship, because Saturn's here now. So it's like, who are you with? And you got to commit more and you got to have those deeper conversations and you got to recognize who you love and, yeah, just get like deeply in tune with that. Because Saturn here in the fifth now, it's like there could be just blocks, with love. It could just feel like you can't have fun and, you can't like fully express your love or fully connect like in your relationship. But as long as you're taking on, the responsibility or the want to connect, then you can really connect in your relationship and you can go deeper. And it's going to require you to be a little bit more vulnerable, to go a little bit more in depth, like, be able to talk about your insecurities and um, express your needs with what you need when it comes to nurturing and comfort and the depth of the relationship that you really want to have. And if you need to cry, you got to cry. And sometimes like being vulnerable like that helps. But also the eighth house is being able to express like all of your shadow, in relationships moving forward with Neptune in Aries, like for everybody, like we're gonna have to be a little bit more transparent. Everybody has a shadow, and it's just all about connecting with the right person who loves your shadow anyway, and not hiding your shadow because you don't think they're gonna like it. That's how you suppress love too. You got to be able to talk about your shadow. You got to be able to own your shadow, and if they love your shadow, the right person will love your shadow anyway. So you'll find the right connection who does love your shadow. And if your relationship goes through a pressure cooker right now, maybe they weren't the right ones, and Jupiter is kind of freeing you to find a relationship that is deep. The seventh house is more like surface, this works, like 3D. And then eighth house is like, no, we're getting aligned to mind, body, spirit, bitch. And we're going all the way deep. So, this will bring you connections that you can do that with, that you do go deep with, and you are in alignment, mind, body, spirit at that deeper, soulful core level. So if you're single, this would bring in, relationships like that, relationships that you do, merge with on that in depth, deep, deep, deep level. Because yeah, you can be vulnerable with them, and you can like see how you're lovable and your shadow is lovable. And it's all about owning, loving that, like that, the soul part of you, loving the soul part of you and not the surface part of you. So, you could easily find a soul connection that you go deep with pretty fast, which isn't comfortable. That's how, I don't know, relationships are the best thing actually for making us evolve, because, we get like when it's triggering time, you got to go through the triggering time. And then that's how you can like evolve into that higher version of yourself instead of letting your shadow own you. This can easily like free you from your shadow. So yeah, and then also this would be like if you've wanted to, start investing your time and energy on a creative project. Maybe there's a block, and it's hard to get money or the time or the energy to invest in your creative project. So this would be a reallocation of your time and your energy, and where's it going, and maybe you want to invest it on taking your creative projects a little bit more seriously. But Jupiter in the eighth, I do like that too, because that's like really getting into alignment with like where is your time and energy going, and is it going towards everybody else, or is it really going towards you? So yeah, it's uncomfortable, but it's like go deep time, and it can actually be very healing. Jupiter is freeing you from something. So when Jupiter goes into the ninth, you're blessed and just like taking off into wherever. But yeah, then, oh yeah, so Jupiter's going to be trining the North Node. So it's like there's some sort of stability when it comes to home, family, and foundation. It hasn't been easy with Saturn in the fourth house at an angle. There's some sort of heaviness there. There's some sort of responsibility. Lots of you guys moved. And but now it's like, oh, like maybe you decide to move one last time and this is where your foundation is, but you're getting in tune with that deeper core part of yourself. And maybe you have the resources actually. Maybe you have an inheritance and buy a house. Um, maybe you just find exactly where you want to live. There can be all sorts of, maybe there's just some sort of deep healing with when it comes to family. But with Jupiter trining Saturn, it's like, oh, here's the money, here's the foundation now. So you can feel a little bit more settled and feel a little bit more secure pretty fast. Um, not only at the deep core level of how you're internally feeling, but possibly like with where you're living. You could be finally like settled instead of like all over the place. Okay, so 51, grateful optimism, joyous view of the future. So I think some of this transit, I think you can find like where you can be grateful for now in the present moment. Sagittariuses are always looking towards the future and the next thing and expanding and where can you go? Because you can go everywhere. But right now it's like you finding just being grateful for where you are right now can help transmute a lot of this inner processing that you're going to be going through. Oh yeah, it's also lucky to go into like tarot, astrology, occult mysteries. Occult just means hidden. So any hidden knowledge, esoteric knowledge and wisdom like Hermeticism maybe can teach you a lot too. But yeah, Healing Earth came out, so the power to give and receive healing. Yeah, I think you're going to realize like the power of like really that in-depth healing and like freeing yourself from those emotions and looking back to the past, but finding that wisdom and seeing how much that does like free you because you're getting empowered in a major way right now. And third chakra came out. This is the one that's going through a mutation. So you're going to be able to trust yourself even more. So after that, you're going to just like be so like in tune with your personal desires and where you're going and just cleansing all the clutter that's been in the way of that. I think that does have to do with the third chakra in general. And that's how everybody's going to be moving in the future, more so from that emotional alignment and how they want to feel versus how they've been moving logically. Okay, so justice, equilibrium, harmony, fairness, accountability. Yeah, justice is, going to be playing out. So if you've needed, some sort of justice, if you needed someone to pay you back, if you've needed, something, some sort of contract to go well, it looks like things are balancing out, but definitely, soul contracts will be balanced out around this time too. So, whoever you're not supposed to be with they're like, maybe they come into your life for a little bit, so it balances it out and they go. And yeah, it's just it can make your relationships just way more fair and balanced. So know that. And then, yeah, so much fire came out, even though this is like a dampy, watery place over there. Then the Emperor came out. Yeah, it's making you recognize your own power and status and loyalty and what really motivates you and what's going to motivate you from that deeper core place. Because the eighth house is actually that deep desire. What is that deeper motivation of what you want to go after and you being in tune with that and going after, what you want. Ambition and a lot of just respect for stability and the stability that is coming into your life. And then just you'll be so in tune with your third chakra. And the elephant came out. Let me see the elephant real quick. Because the elephant is all about because he's holding the fire and he has that third eye chakra. So like some sort of soulful wisdom could be coming in that really sorry, that gets you in alignment with where you're supposed to be. Okay, elephant. Unstoppable, auspicious, wise. The elephant is arguably the most auspicious figure in the deck, like Ganesh. the elephant represents immense wisdom as well as good fortune. It is said that the great elephant is the destroyer of obstacles. So if this card appears when you feel stuck, rest assured the path will soon become clear. To add to the mystery, the elephant is known to create obstacles in order to steer us in the right direction. Trust this gentle, noble creature. It illuminates the way with the light of self-knowledge. So when in balance, one-pointed, focused, generous, loving. When out of balance, misunderstands fate. Bring into balance with trust. So yeah, you're really getting in alignment with your path. And if there's obstacles, they might be there for a reason. Divine timing is always a thing, and it is really powerful to just recognize that as a thing because it kind of gives you more power in the present moment. But you're getting in tune with your self-knowledge. So that is the most important thing actually in this like life. Yeah. You have to have that deep, deep self-knowledge. So when you have that core of wherever you are, like in the work, like whatever adventure you're on, whatever you're going to be like, in the future, like as long as you can rely on yourself and know yourself like that deeply, that is like going to make you the most powerful. So know thyself. And that is going to be the most powerful thing for you to be doing in this next year. And yeah. Hi, Capricorn. Oh my God, I've been so excited to tell you guys this one. I'm like, don't worry, it's coming. Like, okay, because some of you have been having a hard time with relationships and everything, and just a hard time in general with like Pluto that was in your first house finishing up, and just a lot of stuff going on. So this, is going to be really nice, at least with Jupiter in the seventh house. You're going to be very lucky with relationships. That like really high level relationships can come into your life with Jupiter in your seventh house. And Jupiter is exalted, so it's going to bring in the best partnerships. And these are going to be relationships that they bring something to you to help you grow and evolve and expand, and you bring something to them, and you can work together. And this is kind of like a soulmate relationship that you can be in forever, and you're both growing and evolving and experiencing. And as long as you guys are both deciding to do that. And yeah, it can just bring you so much luck and opportunity. So yeah, I love this for the next year. Really beneficial relationships are going to come into your life. Jupiter is going to be squaring Saturn and Neptune right in the beginning, though, in June. So this is some sort of frustration when it comes to relationships and home life. So there might be a certain relationship that you're just like, feeling the steam from, feeling the frustration. Maybe there's more responsibility with your home and foundation, and somebody's not stepping up. And, this is when all those things that you needed to talk about like come up so you can talk about them because it can't be suppressed anymore. Who does what around the house, who's paying for what, all those kind of things. But that's so you can be in alignment with your relationships. And this can also be kind of a deep healing, when it comes to home and family in the past. With Neptune here, you're really getting into that compassion for the past and realizing that everybody just did the best they could, with the resources that they had, while they, at the time. So you can have a lot of compassion and love with Neptune here and really free yourself from whatever was keeping you stuck in the past or in your childhood, when it comes to that, looking back at the deep past and really healing. And then maybe maybe you and your partner are deciding to move. That could definitely be a thing. But yeah, this is just an overall alignment with your home and where you're living and relationships. So it could be frustrating at the beginning, but as long as it's sorted out and you know where you want to be grounded, you know where you want to plant your roots, you know where you feel empowered, and you know what relationships are really bringing you that expansion, then it's all about, it's deciding and really knowing how you want to move forward and making those adjustments. So yeah, and then when Jupiter's trines the North Node, it's like, okay, everything, the right relationships are here, and there's better communication. There's, if it was a sibling that you were fighting with earlier, you guys are getting along later, more so at the end of, August or after June. June is just the hard period. And then, you're just in alignment. There's some sort of forgiveness, some sort of expansion, some sort of wisdom that needed to come up, for everything to be recognized. And yeah, maybe you are moving for a relationship and now you're in the right community where you feel the most expansive, where you just are in alignment with your everyday life and knowledge and the way you're thinking every single day and what you're doing, and getting a lot of help from people. And this is just all kinds of relationships. So clients could be coming in that are really beneficial. Romantic, obviously, friendships, just in alignment, doing the things. Let's see. This is also really good marketing strategies. If you're on social media or if you are running your business, you can come up with a really good marketing strategy to reach out to the right people. Yeah, so some sort of massive alignment there. And then with Jupiter, that'll be trining the Saturn. There is some sort of stability with community and knowledge, and maybe you're deciding to teach. Maybe you're deciding to learn something, but this is what you've been taking responsibility with, that there's some sort of completeness and there's some sort of luck coming in with a relationship and a foundation that's, being put here with siblings or the way you think and your mentality, communication, just whatever you're doing, you have been doing with your everyday life. There's some sort of like just reward, karmic reward coming in. So yeah, let's pull some cards. Beneficial one-on-one relationships. This could also be like a therapist or, an astrologer, something too that comes in and gives you a lot of wisdom. You could get, a lot of like good insight. Okay. Wings of light, becoming something new. So this is majorly cleansing you. I think there will be a lot of relationships that will help you expand, help you clear out some of the density of the past to make you a lot lighter, and a lot more motivated towards the new. Miracles, ancient wisdom. So look out for the miracles in your everyday life, that can lead you to that deeper soulful place that is going to be, more fulfilling. With the North Node in Pisces, don't plan everything, don't like organize everything, don't like try to structure everything too much. That's what you're letting go of. You're just looking for the miracle in the present moment in your everyday life. And, that will lead you towards the right relationships. That'll lead you towards, I don't believe in like dating apps anymore. You should actually just follow your pleasure, do what's fun, do what's exciting, and be high vibe like that to go towards the right people and the right relationships and all of that. But meeting people online technically would be, beneficial, but do what you love and then you'll probably meet somebody that way. Okay. So blossoming abundance, definitely a lot of abundance coming in. That's going to be really, really fulfilling. And Jupiter rules your 12th house. So internally, you're going to be feeling, a big boost. And I think if you're working on any creative projects, like second chakra came out. So that is all about creativity and creating. And that is like passion for relationships too. Maybe a strong soulmate connection is coming in that just ignites that passion. Uh, Swan came out. Oh my God. So yeah, love. Love is definitely coming in, just abundance in all areas of life. I think Jupiter at an angle is bringing you that abundance. So recognize the abundance that you want to have in your life, more money, better relationships, better business. You can really manifest it and tune into that ancient soulful knowledge with what is really meant for you. And when you're in soulful alignment in your everyday life, you're just going to be going towards what's meant for you and what is deeply soulfully fulfilling, not what because whatever is fulfilling to the ego usually isn't going to be like deeply fulfilling. So you're kind of recognizing that. And yeah, maybe you're deciding to create at home more. Oh, King of Cups and Queen of Swords. So, yeah, some sort of relationship could be coming in, and maybe it seems like you guys aren't like communicating the same at first, but like a soulmate connection is coming in. You know, one's in the masculine, one's in the feminine, and sometimes there can be like, I need to realign in that way, but it looks like logically you're getting aligned, with just the mind and where you want to go and making a plan that way. But you're getting that soulful like flow with what truly matters and what's going to be, give you that best like fulfillment. So yeah, King of Cups is ambitious, intelligent, practical, all about stability. There's a lot of stability coming in. And yeah, okay. All right. Thank you so much, Capricorn. But I'm so excited with the swan because literally that is a soulmate connection, possibly a twin flame. Watch out because that could totally awaken you and be a little frustrating, but that is a thing. But it's all good at the end of the day. I did want to read the swan. Swan could be like a high level soulmate connection coming in, possibly a twin flame, because that is the swan. Just beware, those are real and they really make you spiritually evolve in a very intense way. Okay, so swan, effortless creativity, sensitive, mystic, elegant power. The swan represents heightened creativity in Hindu mythology. The goddess Saraswati, the embodiment of language, creativity, and artistry, rides on the back of this graceful creature. The swan is ready to take us there to the fluid realm of writing, creating, reflecting. This potent and healing energy is not to be taken for granted or taken lightly. When the swan card appears, your soul is calling for your attention, for solo time. An inner voice is waiting to be heard, an inner vision likely to be revealed. So when in balance, infinite creative power. When out of balance, agitated, snippy, lacking vision. So yeah, you're getting a big creative boost in a whole new way. That's very exciting. That's going to lead towards a lot of abundance and a lot of miracles and just making you realize you can manifest in a very easy, light way. All right. Thank you so much, Capricorn. Hi, Aquarius. Okay, so this is happening in your sixth house, which has to do with your work, your everyday routines, your health, your diet, exercise, just how you plan, how you organize your life, the kind of the boring, mundane way that you structure your life. And the good news is this is going to make you work a lot easier. I know work has been a little bit difficult with Saturn in the 12th house, but you're going to have a lot of an easier flow. And if you've been having issues with your health or some sort of worries, you can easily find a lot of like easy solutions. If you've been needing to hire somebody for your business or not getting along with your coworkers, like you're going to be having just some sort of just ease and flow now. But in the beginning, Jupiter is going to be squaring Saturn and Neptune. So maybe there is some sort of frustration with your everyday life and needing to restructure things. The third house is all about decluttering. It's your everyday life and whatever you do. And you could be decluttering. You could be getting frustrated with work. And maybe this is a time where you decide to do something else. There's a lot of Aquariuses that are deciding to become writers and bloggers and YouTubers or something like that, where you can, have creativity and express your creativity in your everyday life and, get into that soulful alignment of what you're actually supposed to be doing. So that could definitely be, a big switch into going this way. And, you would be very lucky actually with receiving work that is, fulfilling and really meant for you. With Jupiter being exalted in your sixth house, trining your 10th, trining this North Node, because later Jupiter is going to be trining the North Node. So whatever was frustrating with your schedule and whatever adjustments needed to be made about your everyday life. Third house is just whatever you're doing in your everyday life, like restructure that. So there's, something you're supposed to be doing. And Jupiter trining the North Node, it's like, oh, money coming in now. Some sort of reward, some sort of soulful alignment of like, this is deeply self-fulfilling and I can make money doing it. And spending more of my time and my energy towards what I value at a deeper soulful level versus prioritizing the practical, maybe. It does lead to, yeah, just work fulfillment. And then with Jupiter, that's going to be trining Saturn later. It's like, okay, this is the foundation that I've been working towards when it comes to my money and my resources and what I value, what I want to manifest more of in my life. And you got some sort of stability here. So there was a lot of like either a lack of money or a need to work really hard for your money. And now there's stability. Now there's like either a big project coming in or some sort of reward. Maybe you're getting a raise. Maybe you're receiving a work opportunity and getting that dream job that you really, really wanted. And yeah, just receiving now. So that's really nice. After going through those Saturns, the squares with Jupiter in the fifth, like not a lot of fun, lot of work, and now you're just, yeah, receiving the rewards for it. So that's going to be really nice. Just be prepared. And this could be a lot of mindset shifts when Jupiter's squaring Saturn and Neptune. Like maybe you thought something had to be structured this way and there was no way about it. You guys can be very hard-headed sometimes, especially with the way you think and the way you believe something needs to be. And you can stick to ideas way too long, like, and not like let in the new ideas. But, this is going to be, really good to be flexible with your mentality. And you should be listening to affirmations on a daily basis. You should be, I am powerful. Look at Sammy Ingram's 10-minute method because you need to be powerful in your, the way you think, the way you speak to yourself, writing and your creativity. Like you need to, in your everyday life, you need to be powerful and it starts with you pumping yourself up. So I am affirmations. Look at Sammy Ingram's 10-minute method to like reprogram something. Maybe, if you're beating yourself up for something, like you can actually just flip that, be powerful, and be the ultimate creator and manifester in your everyday life. But also be open to, yeah, different philosophies, different like learning is going to be really powerful. And, not some sort of information or knowledge could make you structure your everyday life in a way that is actually going to be way more beneficial and lead to a lot more rewards and flow instead of too much work, needing things to be a certain way. And that'll help you evolve in a really powerful way too. Yeah. Okay. So river of blessings. Yes, there's a river of blessings coming your way. Just abundance coming your way that was meant to come your way. And it's like releasing the constraints that were there, especially financially. This is also healing you. You got to recognize your ability to heal in your everyday life and the power of your voice. And yeah, just you finding your flow and taking care of your body and, prioritizing a schedule that works for you is going to be very healing for everybody else too. So know that. And the garden and the gate came out. So it's like, yeah, maybe there's a way that you kept yourself restrained, like in corporate structure or some sort of structure that, kept you, it was nice, it was comfortable, but there's a way that, you can go that can be more expansive. Maybe you're letting yourself step up as the leader and delegating more of your, the heavy work to somebody else that, it would actually be beneficial for them to do it. Just, yeah. not taking on all the work, letting somebody else like do it too, and learn and grow within, with the knowledge that you have to share, to help them. But yeah, deer's coming out. So the feminine energy, that's very healthy. You can get in touch with, I'm going to read the deer, your intuition, and that'll help you really find an easy flow with work. And you're headed towards the Ten of Cups. So the prosperity, satisfaction, joy fulfilled, sincere friendships, happy family, and happy marriage. Just all the really happy, fulfilling things that get to you at that deeper soulful level in your everyday life and with your work, actually. So yeah, so you can meet soulmate connections through your work and everything. Um, but trust your innate wisdom. Turtle came out. So the turtle has like the I Ching on his shell, or that's what inspired the I Ching. But recognize, the innate, the way that you're just moving right now, you're kind of moving for the divine will with Pluto in your first house. And there's a way that you can just have more trust and faith and recognize that the right people will be there for you, the right situations, the most powerful projects will come to you if they're for the highest good of humanity. Um, and you can trust that. And wherever you're, indecisive, like know that, divine timing can be at play and that you're headed to your highest good anyway. So, and deer. Okay, deer. Loving, intuitive, graceful, the mother. The deer represents the feminine aspects of earth energy. This energy is available to all creatures, regardless of gender, but it is especially potent in new parents. During the first few days, they are fully present, nurturing, calm. Their inner beauty radiates a sense of grace, calms the room. A deer personality affects others in this way, drawing them towards a quiet tenderness, and the deer card may appear when a birth or celebration of new life draws near, or when a situation calls for absolute gentleness and compassion. Yeah, I think you're realizing like just you um embodying more of this gentleness and compassion in your everyday life and for work is what'll lead to a lot of rewards actually. And it's less about trying hard. It's more so about like having an open heart in your everyday life that will give you the most with not a lot of work and not a lot of, force actually. Because the sixth house is the area of life that it's usually the energy that we kind of look down on. So maybe there is a way that you looked down on, sensitivity, feminine energy in general, like not needing to push, like there is a receptive energy too. And you getting more in tune with this is going to lead you towards ease and prosperity and growth. And I think you're definitely going to recognize that around this time. Um, yeah, maybe you being the mother at work too, like can be very supportive during this chaotic time. Like that could be a chaotic time where everyone's freaking out and you come in with your presence and your powerful voice. And then, there's just this knowing and calmness that can, spread. All right. Thank you so much, Aquarius. Hi, Pisces. This is a very fun one for you with Jupiter in your fifth house. Yay. This is like a Dharma house, so there's going to be more luck in general. You're going to be happier. You're going to be focused. You're going to have more fun. You're going to have more creativity. You're going to have more excitement. You can meet new friends during this time. You can really dive into some sort of creative project or some sort of hobby and meet a lot of people and just have overall a lot of fun and enjoyment. And you really don't even have to do anything. You're just going to have more fun on, a daily basis, like more ease, more flow by focusing on your fun, opening your heart, to let all the good things come in and to let your manifestations happen. So if you're single, this is going to be a great time to meet somebody, and you could meet somebody that's like a soulmate connection. And if you're in a relationship, like this can definitely deepen the relationship. So at the beginning, Jupiter's going to square Saturn. So there might be some frustration. Maybe there's a creative project or something that you need to invest in, but you don't have the resources. Because with Saturn here, you're going to be working harder for your money. And there's going to be, it just feels like there's not enough money and you need to work harder. But if you do work hard during this time, you will receive a lot of money at the end of the day. So this could be some frustrations, like wanting to go out, wanting to have fun, lack of money, frustrations with what you value and what's fun, and going through a readjustment with that, like raising your values and what you truly desire now, and not just going out and having fun and spending a lot of money at the bar or something. Like if you elevate your values, there's higher ways that you can have fun. Also, this could be like going on a bad date, and like I would say maybe I don't know, avoid dating in June, but this could obviously be some sort of relationship that comes in for a hot minute and that just like stings, but it makes you elevate your value and your self-worth. So you get a higher level connection that comes in. You do have to be careful with the South Node in your seventh house, because past life soul connections could be coming in for a hot minute, and like you have this resonance of like, oh my God, you're so familiar and I know you, and love at first sight and all of that. But maybe there's some sort of just lesson that they had to come back and give you, or something that you had to complete in this life. But that frees you up at the end of the day anyway. Just recognize that, even if it hurts, if they didn't stay, it was for your highest good. But sometimes they stay the whole time, while the South Node's in the seventh house. And when the South Node leaves, they leave. Just be aware, it's good to just be aware. But also, if you let yourself have a lot of self-love, and if you are putting yourself first and prioritizing your dreams and where you want to go, and really having those authentic conversations with like how you want to be loved, where you want to go, and what you want in life, and getting someone on board, then you can really elevate your love story during this time and release a lot of just old karmic patterns that you're done with in relationships. But Jupiter is going to be trine the North Node after that. So whatever you had to, go back and forth with when it comes to money and fun and creative projects and what you value, it's like, okay, this is the soulful alignment now. Jupiter is going to be trining the North Node. So it's like, this was the direction that was actually passionate. This is what I love. And it's pushing you up, because when you get into your creative projects and find your self-expression and maybe put it out into the world, that does boost up your self-confidence. So there's a way that you're doing this and having a lot of fun. And it's just naturally like elevating you and, pushing you more so in your soulful alignment and destiny and where you're supposed to be going. And when Jupiter trines Saturn, when Saturn goes back into the first house for a little bit, maybe there's some sort of, heaviness, and you're like, ugh, it's back. But Jupiter is going to be trining the Saturn, so there's some sort of reward anyway. Some sort of stability with going through that drudgery of Saturn in your first house, and that heaviness, and feeling like you have the weight of the world and all this responsibility. There's some sort of karmic reward at the end of the day with all the work that you put in with yourself and who you are out in the world, and heading towards your dreams, and really making them tangible. That, kind of comes your way. And it could be very lucky. It could be some sort of even fated like luck that comes just into your life randomly, that boosts you up into, more stability with who you are out in the world. Like, you are a magical fish, magic is happening. So just be excited for that. And yeah, this could be a solid relationship that comes into your life too, that is very supportive and expansive. So yeah, would that be a good time to like play the lottery? Maybe. Like, actually, with Jupiter trying the North Node and Saturn, I would say luck with playing games. I don't know if the lottery is the best way, but definitely luck with playing games could be a really good thing. Just something happens with you out and about having fun doing your thing. This could be like a song that you put out and it goes viral and it puts you on the map. something like that. And it's like really elevating to you. Okay. So what you're evolving out of is like loss and lack. There is no such thing as lack. And you might be totally evolving out of all the ways that you believed in lack or limitation. This is an abundant universe. It's just directing our attention towards something else that, is it like you can't limit the ways you can make money and limit the ways that you think abundance can come to you. You focusing on what you love and the ways you have fun will direct you towards abundance. So you don't know until you do it, Abraham Hicks style, but it does lead to more abundance. So Abraham Hicks could be a powerful thing to listen to so you can see how abundance can come your way with doing what you love. And Healing Earth keeps on coming out. Recognize if you're a star seed 2 or 144, a lot of your energy goes towards Healing Earth too. Not that that's like, I don't know, bad or anything. Like, I don't like using that as an excuse to like have downtime or anything, but like when a disaster happens, like the fires that happened here, I recognize like my energy was all over the place, but usually it's like fine. But yeah, Healing Earth, the power to give and receive healing. Recognize your ability to just like really give healing. And the deer keeps on popping out too. So feminine energy and your innocence really coming online. So you can recognize the easy flow of life that can really happen. But women holding a coin, it's really leading you towards money and stability. And otter. Otter is about stability too. So starfish, seeing the way you shine, like is, when Jupiter goes into the 5th house, sometimes we can recognize just our natural gifts and talents and the way we naturally shine out in the world and remembering that so we can give it to the world, so we can have, just a lot of lightness and, a lot of flow in life. Also, if you're trying to get pregnant, you could easily get pregnant with Jupiter in the 5th house. And I saw a meme the other day, like there's more women in their 40s now that are having kids than women in their teens. And it really is like women's our natural like bodily, we have more control of our bodies than we've been taught. And it's all about getting in tune with that bodily wisdom to like let miracles like that happen if you're trying. Because with Jupiter in the 5th, you can easily get pregnant. So if you're trying, that can definitely be a thing that easily happens. Okay, and then Otter, I wanted to read. Oh my God, this is so perfect. For Otter, you're finding your little otter spirit. So unobstructed joy, playfulness, contentment. Perhaps the most joyful creature within the animal spirit deck, the otter represents absolute bliss. Otter energy is the playfulness of a child available to us at any age. They have a giddiness and a reverence for life itself. Without the presence of doubt, worry, or skepticism, imagine yourself with a little more otter energy. What would life look like? What would it take to bring you there? The otter card begs these questions and wants to transport us into that precious place as soon as possible. The celebration awaits. So when in balance, full of love, needs nothing. When out of balance, gloomy, sighs, makes silly excuses. So recognize what really truly brings you fun and truly brings you that giddiness, and remember that so you can go in the direction that is going to be the most fulfilling and lead you to the most abundance and the most creativity and ease in life. And money can definitely come your way in a heavy, hefty way. All right. Thank you so much, Pisces. Hi, Aries. Okay, so this is in your 4th house. So this is lucky with your home and your family and foundation. There can be a lot of forgiveness when it comes to home and family things. A lot of releasing yourself from any karmic cycles, karmic family cycles, so you can like elevate out of any negative patterns that haven't been serving you or your family, but recognizing, that deep ancestral healing that you can have. And then Jupiter in the fourth house, you could be moving. You could be moving to where you really want to live. You could be buying or selling a home and get a really good price on one end or the other or both ends. But recognize this is could be an expansion of family too. If you've been wanting to have kids, this could be, expanding your home and maybe you got to move to really live where you want to have more, room and everything. So I love that. But with Jupiter squaring Saturn in the beginning, with June, there's going to be some sort of frustration when it comes to yourself and your family. And maybe there's some sort of confrontation when it comes to your wants, your needs, your desires, your overall vision of life and what you want to go towards. Because you got to take that seriously now. With Saturn in your first house, you want to take on the responsibilities that you want to take on with that long-term direction of where you're going and really have a vision of what you want to achieve and make a structure for that. Make some sort of plan and cut out anybody that's like, maybe too toxic and just wanting things to be the same and maybe not evolving. So maybe you do have to put up some sort of boundaries when it comes to family, or maybe they don't see your dream, but you can't really let that get to you. You have your dream and you just have to be empowered with that dream and to let any of this like steam come up or frustrations and be, dissolved. So you can just find that inner alignment with your true self and your core and your being to know the direction that you're going in. So yeah, that could just be a little frustrating or some sort of block. Like maybe you do want to live somewhere, but you're recognizing like you need more money and you need to earn more money to live in a certain place. But it's like, okay, challenge accepted, and you take on the extra work and at least the vision that you want to head towards. So you can manifest that bigger foundation. But Jupiter, you're going to be feeling internally like optimistic anyway. So know that that will be, good. And you might have a lot of parties at your house and a lot of people over during this time. But you're really planting your roots and you're planting a foundation of where you want to be and, where you can have the most expansion. So yeah, frustration, just be very forgiving and, more compassionate when it comes to family members. If there's a lot of drama from family and there's needs to be a way that things are just adjusted so things, work out better, and having those conversations, balancing things out in a better way. Because Jupiter is your ninth house ruler. So you're also looking towards the long term and where you're going and, facing like stuff coming up from the deep past and the subconscious blocks. And you can really remove a lot of subconscious blocks in internal ways of self-sabotage. With that transit. So it looks like a big unwinding. It looks like a steam burn up first and then like so you can be in overall alignment. And then when Jupiter trines the North Node, there's something really nice here, being grateful for your past and family stuff that happened and being like, oh, well, I had to go through that because, it made you really strong, and you can find this deeper meaning and purpose with the direction that you're going in with the North Node in the 12th house and be like, oh, okay, I was going the right way the entire time. Like, even though all this happened and it was like hard to deal with and shit, like then you're finding this like alignment anyway. Like with you're living where you're supposed to live, you're surrounded with who you're really supposed to be surrounded with. And yeah, just some sort of like gratification, like internally, where, you're kind of developing that core where you could be anywhere in the world, but you have this internal, core going on. And then Jupiter trine Saturn, there could be more stability. If you've been working on a creative project with Saturn going through your 12th house, maybe you've been working behind the scenes. There could be some sort of reward with that, some sort of stability coming in that gives you more stability in the home. Maybe you do travel and go on some sort of spiritual vacation, and that just kind of, is healing and cleansing and releases you from emotional stuff, so you have more of a core too. What else could this be? Yeah, vacation that's very fulfilling. Maybe you decide to move because the 12th house is like long distance. You could decide to move somewhere else. And that's the part of the destined plan too. But, maybe like, you're getting lucky with the prices of things. And yeah. Okay, so let's pull some cards. Sacred purpose, internal flame, ancestral legacy. Yeah, so I think you're getting some sort of wisdom and the ancestors. You could be definitely channeling your ancestors and connecting with your ancestors really easily right now. Yeah, and there's a lot of achievement. Effort plus intention. So whatever you've been working on, maybe you felt like you were working on alone and you felt that heaviness and that isolation before, there is some sort of like achievement and foundation coming from that. And Goddess of the Moon came out. Yeah, you're just getting really in touch with the divine feminine energy. And that's connecting to this like higher vision and your sacred purpose and recognizing that all the work that you put in towards something is, it made you indestructible. The elephant came out. This came out for Sagittarius too. So the elephant can, sometimes obstacles happen. So, it's like where you were a tarantula, where you were like waiting and maybe in cave mode for a long time. But I think you're recognizing now that divine timing was a thing and you needed to wait for the right time to really strike because like the opportunities that are coming in, like wouldn't have come any earlier. So now you get to move fast. And now this is clearing out all the obstacles. And all the obstacles were actually lessons to make you stronger with your vision. And the obstacles had to happen so you could bulldoze through any obstacle that would have shown up, because it doesn't need to be an obstacle. So there's a lot of the deep internal work that you did that was clearing all the obstacles that don't have to be there, with all that deep internal work. So sea serpent too, this is maybe turning on your creativity. And the sea serpent is really important because it's like, keep moving, keep the emotions moving. It's really freeing you up. So internally, you're not staying stuck in any way in any of those heavier, dense emotions. And you're just receiving more of your innate wisdom so you can go in that bigger creative direction and step into that full creative power of your reality and everything. Let me read this sea serpent. That is a mythic creature too. A lot of this new era is bringing what has never been here before and grounding it into reality. And I think with Saturn and Neptune in your first house, you could be very, very in tune with what that could be, what you could work on, and what direction you should be moving in to bring something into reality. Okay, so sea serpent, healing emotional wounds, expressing desires. The sea serpent represents the energy of expression, whether it's emotions, creativity, sensuality, or desire. The sea serpent helps us move and direct our energy into a healthy current. When the essence of this card is in balance, we express ourselves creatively and sexually without fear or shame. We know that what we desire most. Our hearts are at ease and our relationships are meaningful and enduring. We loosen the grip of self-judgment and we let the cool waters of forgiveness to heal our wounds. When the energy of the sea serpent is not yet activated, there's so much action all of a sudden. Like, I don't know if you're just going to be experiencing a lot of action and craziness, not craziness, just more random shit happening all over the place because there was just a helicopter, then there was something like over there, then the dogs running back and forth. Okay, anyway. So, but you have that inner core to deal with all the craziness. So, meaningful, enduring. We loosen the grip of self-judgment and we let the cool waters of forgiveness heal our wounds. When the energy of the sea serpent is not yet activated, our emotions and creativity are left in muddy waters. The current of expression stagnates in some areas of our lives, and in other places it floods. It's important to remember no matter what the waters of our emotional lives look like, the sea serpent loves us just the same. Like a mother, she wraps herself around in a gesture of protection. She supports us as we learn to express our true nature. So yeah, all the blockages have been cleared away. You have found how to express your true authentic self and feel so empowered with that, and realize that you just need to be. That's actually the main thing with Saturn and Neptune. You need to show us how to just all be, authentic, and just like like it actually is less work. You just need to be out in the world. And I think you're going to show a lot of that. And, the more you release your self-doubt and the ways, you emotionally stagnated, this is freeing you so you can step into that highest version of yourself and show us all how to do it and receive a lot of rewards. All right. Thank you, Aries. Hi, Taurus, fellow Taurians. I have a lot of Taurus, so Taurus sun though. But your rising is always the most accurate. Okay, so Jupiter in the third house. This is going to be a lot of fun. This is going to make your everyday life very, like, more optimistic. You're going to have more charisma. You're going to be able to flow, and especially flow with your intuition in your everyday life. If you've been needing to declutter or schedule things in a better way that serves you, this is going to be a great time to do it. It's also going to be a really good time to meet people in the community and in your everyday life, and get along with siblings. And yeah, you're going to be a very inspiring communicator. And yeah, if you do anything like writing or speaking or creative projects in your daily life, there's going to be a lot of, an abundance of ideas and everything, and a lot easier flow. So if you've been hermit mode, Taurus, like we naturally do, it's time to get out. It's time to have fun. It's time to socialize. It's time to meet friends. It's time to connect with people. You could easily meet somebody, yeah, lucky people in your everyday life, but also possibly even a romantic relationship, just out and about doing what you do. Um, and with Jupiter squaring Saturn and Neptune, though, there might be some frustrations, like in your, in the beginning. So, 12th house, it could be something that you just weren't really weren't, bleh, sorry, weren't something that you weren't aware of coming to light. Saturn rules your 10th house and ninth house. So maybe this is something that comes up that you didn't really see, that has to do with your overall direction and your beliefs. This could be a redirection when it comes to spirituality, and, a realignment with what really aligns with you. But and this is just behind the scenes. So, if you have a lot going on behind the scenes in your business, this could be a need to really restructure things, to really like face something, because there's a bigger overall direction that you're going in. And there needs to be an easier flow. So maybe you need to talk to somebody, maybe you need to, be a little bit less rigid with your beliefs, or, with the, work that needs to be structured in a certain way. Let things really be flexible, let things be dynamic, because overall it looks like things could be just restructured in a way that's more so in alignment with where you're going, and yeah, your overall direction. And with Jupiter making a trine to the North Node, this is nice. So yeah, social time, like you're getting connected with friends, groups, networks, and people that can really expand your world in some way and bring a lot of luck and opportunity. With when Jupiter trines the North Node, like you can possibly make a lifelong friend that really is around, for the rest of your life. But this could also just be you getting into alignment with a bigger overall direction when it comes to your hopes and your dreams, and finding more expansion in your everyday life, and just ease to like leap to that, kind of dream in a way that you thought would have been more difficult, but it's actually easier. And this is like career rewards too. So if you've been needing more money to come into your life, maybe some, real like solid rewards come in and is just, a lot easier. So yeah, and with Jupiter trining the Saturn, whatever you've been working on when it comes to your hopes and your dreams and your vision, like there's something really solid that comes in. You might receive some rewards that just like uplifts you, and you're like, okay, I am going in the right direction, and this is for the greater good, and I am in alignment. And you could even plant more seeds, see a way that you can plant more seeds for your long-term overall direction in your destiny and your hopes and your dreams. And yeah, make that more abundant, find more of an easy flow. So let's see, what else does Taurus need to know? Let's pull some cards. As the South Node in the fifth house, there's a way we're releasing the restraints when it comes to our creativity, and we can open up to a much more easy flow to connect with people. That's just fated, that's just destined, that's broadening our world. So clairvoyance, this could be also like a massive reprogramming, like the way you thought in your everyday life that you didn't know you were thinking in a certain way, but it was actually very limiting and, led to more self-sabotage and just like limitations. Like they can be massively removed. Jupiter in the third house, I think it's going to be really powerful to have I am affirmations and speak them out, and really connect with the divine feminine energy. Whether you're a masculine or a feminine, like divine feminine power is really coming online. Magnetic, receptive power, like just realizing like the receptive power and you getting more in tune with that, how much you can receive so much more. And if you start working, and you see how this works when you start working with the underlying forces, in manifesting and connecting with energy, like how much faster your manifestations come, working with the unseen, working with the feminine power and creativity. Seven is on this too. So connecting to your vision, there can be big downloads that just come in, and yeah, maybe you were functioning in a certain way in your everyday life and this just like unwinds it and you're just like awakened in a certain way. That could totally happen, with your higher self. And yeah, but divine feminine is going to be really important to work with. Divine feminine energy, having your natural flow through life, self-care, self-love, working maybe with the laws of the universe or manifesting can be really, really powerful. But clairvoyance came on too. So, like divine feminine energy coming on strong. Like, trust your gifts, trust your natural ability to just receive information from the other side. And, your inner soulful knowing. You could be receiving so many higher messages. And really like being able to trust energy and, water scrying. And I just say water scrying because like, that's very Jupiter in Pisces or Jupiter in Cancer. But it looks like she's water scrying. I didn't even know that was a thing until today. So like maybe try water scrying or anything. And divine feminine power coming on again. Like what? Tiger? You could be creating something. Divine feminine is all about creating. It's all about connecting with the unknown. It's, just in flow, faith, and trust, and receiving what is going to be the best, and prioritizing your happiness so you can receive the most. I'm going to read the tiger too. But yeah, recognizing your ability to heal everybody just with your natural presence. As a Taurus, Taurus energy, we are natural healers because we make everybody feel calm. We really ground everybody. Like we're kind of like the rock or, the rock that holds everything down. We're the most patient, we're the most caring. We know not to what drama we don't want to get in because we like we'll hold our peace and just go do something else. We'll kind of go fade away into the background and do something else because we don't want, who cares about the drama? Um, And yeah, that you focusing on your happiness is going to lead towards the most abundance. There's going to be a boost of self-confidence and enlightenment and a boost up with your energy by connecting to the feminine energy. It's funny, the sun card is a masculine energy, but I think it starts out with the feminine energy first, and then you find your most flow because you already are enlightened and you already came here with this deep soulful wisdom. That's why we're so stubborn because we already know what's good and what's bad. Like, and we have the discernment of what to put our time and energy on and what not to. So we, trust that and to make sure you're really in tune with that. Okay, so Tiger, lunar force, ease in the darkness, feminine energy. The tiger hunts at night at one with the silence, fear nothing. This card reminds us to take in the wild darkness, to allow lunar forces to soothe and heal our spirits. Sensuality, receptivity, and devotion are all heightened in the midnight hour, and the tiger takes advantage of these boons. Spend some time in silence this evening, drinking in the potent calm. There's nothing to fear in the stillness except the awakening of your own power. Passionate, strong, sensual when in balance, when out of balance, overstimulated. Yeah. Prioritize your feminine flow. How many feminine cards can come out for one reading? In your everyday life, abundance can be very easy, but it starts with you feeling good. It starts with self-care and self-love. It starts with your intuition and tuning into your inner knowing, and it starts with healing yourself so you have that unconditional love for yourself so you can spread it to others to bring the most abundance to you. And that's how you're going to make your most manifestations happen, and that's how you're going to shine the best out in the world. All right, Taurus. Oh my God, that is so much more exciting than I thought because usually third house is boring, but like I really love that. All right, thank you so much, Taurus. Hi, Gemini. Okay, so this is happening in your second house. Lucky, lucky, lucky you. And work, phew, easier this year. Easier with Jupiter in the second house. You made it. Saturn in your 10th for the past couple of years, like, whew, that was really hard. So give yourself a big fat pat on the back because you are receiving the rewards now with Jupiter in the second house. It's going to be easy to get more money. It's going to be easy to get a raise, a promotion, the job that you really want. It's abundance time, you get to receive the money now. So that's going to be really nice. And your relationships are going to be doing better because the seventh house is ruled by Jupiter too. So, Jupiter, maybe you met somebody with Jupiter in the first house, but then really what you value when it comes to relationships because Jupiter just does better in the second, and you can meet somebody at work really easily too. And yeah, just your career is going to be doing better because Jupiter rules your 10th house, which is your career, your reputation, your long-term direction, and where you're going. And you're receiving a big boost with that. So you're just shining out in the world. It's going to be really nice. But in June, there will be a little bit of frustration. So Jupiter is going to be squaring Saturn and Neptune. So maybe there's some block or frustration, and maybe it's time to receive those career gains, but you don't get them yet, and you have to just wait a little bit longer, more so in August when Jupiter trines this stuff. But like there could be some sort of blocks with receiving money because 11th house is career gains. And then if not that, maybe there's some frustration with like friendships and who you're hanging out with, and maybe somebody's a little cheap and it's time to put up the boundaries with who you're hanging out with. It's going to be important to really not be afraid to switch up your friend group because there's a big new that wants to come in with your friendships, and there could be a whole like maybe your friend just starts randomly acting like a dick, and that's because you're supposed to meet other friends and open up your life to these bigger, expansive, bold, exciting, crazy friends and big dreamers, so you can really connect with people that you're really supposed to connect with. So if there's a lot of frustrations with friends, sometimes that just happens. The transit comes, it's like, okay, like we supported each other for that period of time, but now like like they'll like and it'll just they'll start acting like assholes. It'll just happen. It's like, okay, like you just have to open it up to who else is out there and who's really meant to be in your life. And there's definitely people that are meant to be in your life with Saturn and Neptune here. And they could be artists, they could be visionaries, they could be into altruism. With Neptune, just make sure they're like high vibe kind of Neptune stuff and not low vibe, because they could also be drug addicts, wallowers, victim mentality, like lost in the sauce, all of that. So that would be, a frustration and a boot there. But yeah, so you're being directly realigned with who you're connecting with, so you're the most empowered with your hopes and your dreams and your visions for the future. So you're a big, massive dreamer here. This is amazing. Magic wants to happen for you. But you got to focus on, and be really just bold and pumped up with your dreams and your vision. So you connect with like-minded people and big, bold dreamers that, push you in this elevated direction too, because you can reach your dreams in such a magical, mystical way through past soul life connections and everything. But it's all about like letting them come in and not getting disillusioned from friends, not letting yourself hermit too much and be afraid to make friendships just because, certain ones didn't work out. So you can find the ultimate expansion. As a Taurus, I kind of just went through this. So yeah, and it's a long transit, but it's still magical and amazing. Okay, and then Jupiter is going to be trine the North Node. So what you value and with elevating what you value, it's raising your manifestations. It's showing you with what you deeply soulfully value and what you're connected to at that deeper soulful level and what you want to manifest more of, because, it makes you feel good at your core. That's pushing you in an overall fated direction that's aligned with the collective and the collective dream and also your dream. It's like your dream is, with the collective, and it's like elevating you into this fated direction with who you are out in the world and your reputation and where you're supposed to be. And yeah, you could be receiving some sort of financial support so you can start these dreams. Maybe you do want to start your business. Maybe you just want to switch your career to something that's soulfully aligned. Maybe you receive some sort of opportunity that completely switches up your job or something like that. And it's just like meant for you. And you know it, and you're doing it, and you're going in that direction, and it's good. And then with Saturn, Jupiter making a trine to Saturn, it's like, okay, there's after all that work, all that grind, maybe like you had to deal with such an asshole boss for the past like 2.5 years, but now there's a reward. Maybe you're stepping up, being promoted. Maybe you're, receiving that job that you really want. Maybe you can start your business and it expands in maybe you started your business and it just expanded in a really fast, unexpected way. And that can totally happen. And you're just receiving the rewards and like, oh my God, there's security here. Like we're abundantly doing good with our career and it feels so nice. So that's going to be amazing. Let's pull some cards. Sacred breath and sound, life force, communication. Yeah, I think you're getting really in touch with the ease of in which the way abundance can really flow to you. All those challenges, all those obstacles, all that hard work led to some sort of achievement. Achievement is happening for you. You're going to realize all your effort and all that slow, steady building really got you somewhere. And you are where you are meant to be. And I love dolphin. There's that one girl that does dolphin technology, angelic healing sounds, something like that. But she talks about the dolphin technology and how we just need to remain playful and we just need to, be in tune with our vision and know that we can make money in any way. We can, it's just up to us, to stay excited about it and, let them be us being in tune with ourselves so we can kind of let the magic happen. And sacred breath and sound, life force communication. So you're getting definitely in tune with, I think, higher manifestations and higher vibrations that might let you manifest in a very easy way, and lead you towards the right communication and soul family, and you just recognizing more of your life force. And when it's just easy and flowing, and it has to do with your creativity, because you should be doing a job with creativity in it, with Jupiter and Cancer, and Pisces ruling your 10th house. It's really, that can lead to the most abundance, actually. But yeah, Phoenix is happening. So prepare for maybe a Phoenix moment a little bit, where you do like burn away the old. So that really does free you and release financial constraints. You won't have to, whatever's being rewarded here will be a solid foundation. So you don't have to worry about finances as much for a while. Because if you've been working hard, you're going to receive that bulky money that really creates that foundation. And yeah, you'll receive the reward. So yin and yang, you're finding a balance with taking action in your masculine energy and the feminine energy. And I want to read the sacred sound, actually, because that just looks interesting and the most relevant. Okay, life force communication. The priestess of breath of life brings the light of the dolphin to you. Then this important totem has long been the symbol of life force embodied in breath, movement, and sound. This card is telling you to bring the dolphin's easy flowing pattern to the breath of your life force at this time. Healing is available to you now on both the physical and the personal levels. Deep breathing can relieve stress, initiate accelerated healing, and raise the resonant vibrations of your chi or life force. So if there's a physical issue or a personal pattern you want to resolve, spend some time in deep breathing and meditation and let yourself feel fluid, peaceful influence it brings into your body and in your life. Another sacred energy heralded by this card is the resonance of sound. Dolphins have a special way of communicating, sending out clicks and responding to their reverberations. This card is calling your attention to how you communicate with yourself and others. The aqua blue colors on this card reinforces the importance of this message, vibrating with the energy of the fifth or throat chakra. It's your soul's directive to honor your self-expression. If you find it difficult to speak up, start by venting your difficult feelings in your journal. This healing process leads to greater courage of expression in the future. Oh yeah, because the second house is the throat chakra. So I think you're really healing your throat chakra and speaking up, and that's leading you to the right direction also. So you can have more authority out in the world. So you can kind of like step up more so as a leader. It's time to share your feelings, voice your requests, and honor your right to speak out. Take a breath and practice communicating openly with others. The resonance of your breath and sound will soon move your life forward with the freedom, fluidity, and sparkling joy of the dolphin's magical energy. You are magical. So, affirmation: I breathe deeply and express myself. My sound and breath are sacred to me. All right. Thank you so much, Gemini. Recognize the power of your voice. Let me see the Phoenix real quick, because it's really weird that, I love when a mythic creature comes out, and because there's not too many of them, and the Phoenix is one of them. So, because you have to have a mythical vision of your career and where you're going out in the world, and really take that seriously. Phoenix, okay. Freedom from suffering, the past, karma, reincarnation. This phoenix represents the transformation of our past. It doesn't mean running from it, denying it, or burning bridges with rage. The phoenix employs an advanced technique described in yoga as burning impurities through the practice. Dedication, tapas. The essence of the phoenix is with us. When we realize we have been suffering too long and something must change, we have a stand to decide to live consciously instead of being driven by the unconscious minds. It's a long list of fears, aversions, and at that moment, the spark of the phoenix is lit. The great bird helps us burn through our baggage. We no longer run from who we are, what has happened to us, what we have done. The stuckness, the dead weight fall into ashes, and the lightness of clarity emerges as the stagnant continues to smolder. the phoenix lifts up our spirit up and up, and we begin to recognize ourselves again and may catch a glimmer in our eye that wasn't there before. Look closely. It's a sign that the fire of transformation is upon your wings. So that's major. Yeah, that's like Uranus finishing up at the last degrees of the 12th house. It's going to be in your first house. You're going to be ready to rampage and completely transform in such random, spontaneous ways. And it's up to you to really just be lighthearted and follow that spontaneity and recognize, like, you are, when you balance yourself out and you're just ready to go, these magical, massive dreams can happen. Just let the transformation happen. All right. Thank you so much, Gemini. All right, Cancer. You are lucky. This is all about you. You are receiving everything that you want. So when it comes to your hopes and your dreams and your visions and what you really desire, it's going to be able to receive that a lot easier, to have a lot more flow, to have a lot more opportunity, to have people coming your way and helping you out. Jupiter also rules your 9th house and your 6th house. So your everyday life and your work is going to be lightening up and be a lot easier. Your 9th house with your long-term direction and your visions and your beliefs, like, you believe it can happen. It is magical. Magic does exist and you can flow towards it and receive a lot of rewards and just be on your Dharma timeline and really shine out in the world. So this is all maybe about you stepping into that highest version of yourself too. It's going to be easier to do that. So you are that person that is easily receiving the money, the relationship, the anything that you're truly trying to manifest. It's going to be really easy to manifest that, but it starts with you stepping into that highest version of yourself. You did a lot of deep cleansing with releasing the past and an old cycle. So now you're kickstarting a new cycle for the next 12 years. So it's really important to plant those seeds, like, know your overall direction and where you're going, plant those seeds and be excited for this expansive new adventure. You're going to be just optimistic in general. You're going to be looking at the world and the opportunities and what you can conquer and being in your flow and being abundant. And it's going to be exciting. So I will say, though, in the beginning, it's a little frustrating because Jupiter is going to be squaring Saturn and Neptune. So there is some sort of delay or frustration when it comes to your work, and you're taking on more responsibility. With the 10th house, Saturn in the 10th house, you're taking on work or responsibility that you want to take on so you can be that highest version of yourself, so you can really achieve your dreams and your goals and go after that bigger, glorious vision. Because Neptune in your 10th house, you're naturally radiant and shiny and glamorous, and you can receive, go towards your manifestations in a lot easier way. But you have to be consistent. You have to know your vision, know it every day. Don't falter, go after it. And you might be tested, right in the beginning with Jupiter squaring it. It's like, here's the challenge, here's the frustration. What beliefs or structure needs to go away that worked before, but it's not working anymore. But your ability to just navigate in the present moment and be very intuitive is the way to go anyway. So you being, very powerful with yourself and recognizing how you can manifest your reality and what, not being afraid to get rid of old heavy structures, letting that go, redirecting your dream to where you really want it to be. And making that change. Maybe you decide to switch jobs. Maybe you decide to don't rage quit, I guess. Like, be a little patient, because you could easily rage quit. 10th house is fire. And water is you, so there could be steam, there could be some sort of challenge when it comes to some sort of boss or some sort of authority figure, and maybe too much responsibility, but you're deciding what to take on and how you can step into this higher role if you really want to do it. And yeah, just like recognize there's going to be a block there for just June and frustration. And then recognize, like, this is just kind of a readjustment, and you can decide what responsibilities you want to take on and who you want to be, what's worth your time, what's not worth your time, and where you want to go. And if you do switch to another job, you're going to be lucky, looking for another job too. Because sometimes those emotions can be like you're supposed to be somewhere else, not here. And like it'll redirect you into where you're actually supposed to be. So, and then with Jupiter later, making a trine to the North Node, it's like, okay, this faith and belief that you had with yourself, and you're being rewarded now, whatever you like, yeah, because your faith and belief are going to be really powerful now with yourself and what your ability to achieve your vision. And maybe there was a redirection and it's like, okay, this is the destined timeline, this is where I'm supposed to be. It feels so good, it feels like fulfilling, I am aligned, I am going in the direction that I'm supposed to be in. And with Saturn at the end of the ninth house, it's like all that heavier responsibility or work that you had to take on either with school, with a belief system, with stepping into like a mentor role. Like there's some sort of achievement there too. There's some sort of reward with, believing you can achieve anything out in the world and that you are on your Dharma timeline, you are aligned with your meaning and purpose in life, and there's some sort of stability coming in reward that makes you shine better out in the world, that makes you more solid with that overall direction that you are going in for soulful growth and evolution. And yeah, you get rewarded right away. So just keep that in mind while the frustrating June stuff is happening. So let's pull some cards. I guess make sure you take care of your body too. With Jupiter in the first house, it's very important to self-care, self-love. Don't like overindulge, you can, because that can expand the body too. But yeah, there's a way you're innovating yourself. Your power is in your ability to innovate and with your creativity, and Healing Earth came out. So you're releasing any fear of lack or limitation, because there is no such thing as lack or limitation. So you can focus on your ability to innovate current structures. Actually, I think you're going to be your superpower, and what you're really meant to do is to take the old structures, take what worked, recognize what didn't work, throw out what didn't work, so you can focus more so on what did work. And then Healing Earth. So this card is coming out for a lot. Recognize your presence and your ability with just your aura and your, like, just who you are, like, can be very healing to others. You can be very nurturing to others. You can like, there can be a lot of people coming your way, but I guess see which ones are, giving as much as you are giving, and, those powerful connections like that. Man holding a coin, man holding a heart. I love that. So if you're looking for love, this can be definitely a love connection that comes in that's really solid, because Saturn rules your seventh house, which is relationships. So when Jupiter's trining it, it's like, oh, there's somebody that believes the same way that I do in life. And maybe you meet them through traveling, maybe you meet them in school, but that could be a really abundant relationship that comes into your life that's very fated and very destined. And yeah, they have the stability and support in the, 3D things, and they also have the love. So man holding a heart. And I love that. So maybe you're definitely finding love. And if not, then if not that, then you're and if you've been having trouble in your relationship, you can be aligned more so now. And if it's not that, then it can be your masculine energy, just really being in alignment with what you love and how to make money. Um, so yeah, if you wanted to start a business, if you wanted to start monetizing a creative skill or talent, then this would be a great year to do that, to plant those seeds so you can show up out in the world how you really want to show up out in the world and be really empowered. With Saturn and Neptune in the 10th house, we're starting something new. We're planting the seeds with work, and you could totally decide to be an entrepreneur in a way that helps out everybody else. So the Lamb came out, which I'll read, and the Tiger. The power is with your divine feminine energy. The Tiger already came out, but it's like the Tiger is in touch with the lunar forces and the energy, moving moment to moment to moment. It's going to be really powerful to manifest with the moon, with Jupiter in Cancer, but just recognize your innate power, with that and your intuition and your clairs, and you just know. You don't know how you know, but you know a lot. When it comes, you have a very, very strong intuition. So it's all about trusting that and then following it. And that's where your power is. It's just a power that you naturally have. Okay, so the Lamb, peaceful, prophetic, patient. The Lamb is a bearer of an important message. Its continents. Wait. Its contents can only be heard when a deep level of quiet has been established. Lamb energy is the honest guidance you hear from an old friend, a young child, or sometimes a surprising stranger. Though the Lamb's message may channel through another person, the wisdom resonates within you. It will reverberate until you listen. Approach this gentle creature with the utmost patience and reverence. Truth is a gift. Sit still, listen, receive. So when in balance, knowingness, inner peace. When out of balance, quiet, timid, concerned. Bring into balance by meditation and listening. Yeah, so your power is going to be listening to your inner truth and your inner feminine energy. And what is your higher self saying to you? What is your, what is your inner guidance? And that is going to lead you towards the highest direction and the easiest path that is really meant for you. All right. Thank you so much, Cancer. Hi, Leo. Okay, so this is Jupiter's entering your 12th house. So there's going to be a little bit more being behind the scenes, working at home, working on personal passion projects, being a little bit more hermit mode, and needing a little bit more downtime because we need that after all this excitement and expansion out into the world. And now it's like a little bit more focus inward to clear out the giant cycle that we've kind of just gone through. So there's going to be a big release from the past, and there can be a big release with like subconscious limitations. We'll have more of a direct access to our higher self and where we're being guided, especially with Saturn and Neptune here. We're being put on our Dharma timeline, towards a path full of more meaning and more purpose. And it's time to take that seriously. And it's time to maybe get out of our own way where we can be on that path a lot easier. So Jupiter in the 12th house can clear out a lot of our own subconscious blocks, our own limitations, ways that we, maybe got in our own way, especially when it comes to creativity, because, Jupiter in the 12th house, like we can definitely get in touch with our creativity. And it is very important to get in alignment with our own deeper, soulful creativity, because that's what people are really going to value. So get it going within, doing the work, releasing the past. You could be having really crazy dreams that, are really prophetic and get you to recognize certain things, to, get you going in a certain direction. But this is going to be a powerful time to meditate, to connect with your higher self, to go on a vacation that's like a spiritual kind of adventure, kind of like get really attuned, because Jupiter in the 12th house, it is long distance travel too. So maybe you decide to go travel to really eat, pray, love, and discover the world and get into alignment that way. So with Jupiter making a square to Saturn and Neptune, that's frustrating, right away. There's some sort of block or limitation with where you want to go long term, where you want to go. You're pumped up in this area of life and you might be a little bit motivated, but Saturn, is bringing on the responsibility, and it's like, okay, do you believe in this vision and where you want to go long term and the work that you got to take on and who you got to become to do it? And Jupiter like is like I think we're gonna have a massive like emotional purge of like what all this stuff from the past and like childhood possibly of what was in the way and recognizing it and like like maybe having a cry fest to like release all of that. Because we don't see this area of life. So maybe something comes to light when it comes to family and like what karma we have to evolve out of when it comes to that. But like at the same time, Jupiter in Cancer is giving us a boost when it comes to the eighth house, which is shared finances and resources and bulky money coming in. So there could be stability coming in. And it's also unwinding the shadow. It's purging the shadow. So we recognize our shadow and where we suppress ourselves so we can love more of ourselves and have more self-love and, be that highest vibrating version, be that highest version of ourself out in the world. When we love all parts of ourselves, we can embody our full frequency. So we can have that powerful, authentic vibration with who we are out in the world and attracting the right people to us, releasing who's not meant for us, and be in full alignment to have this easy flow of abundance that is really meant for us. Not saying it's not going to be easy. And, June, this looks like facing our deep, deep shadow and being so frustrated and something coming up that's like very triggering. But, then we get rewarded. And then Jupiter also represents our fifth house. So this is also at the same time giving us a creative boost. So we're not afraid to put out our creations. So we're not afraid to express ourselves in the way that we need to express ourselves to be in our full authority, with who we are out in the world and, to have more fun and to go towards, our passions and what excites us and, to have an adventure and to like release ourselves in any way that we have been dimming our light or playing small so we can fully step into that full empowerment again. It's kind of like, Leo's like it felt like we had to dim our light for a little bit, with Saturn in the seventh house and then, Saturn in the eighth house. Like it hadn't been the light, bright, shiny, normal Leo, the past while. So I think this is like a kickstart to like really like purge the, hard stuff that we've gone through so we can really like release it and not like let it hold us back. So there's facing a lot of deep emotions that we probably didn't even recognize that we had. So we can liberate ourselves, because these dark houses are ultimately to liberate us. So we feel deeply, so we cry, so we transform, so we recognize all those stuck patterns and cycles that we were stuck in because emotionally we just weren't facing something. So we face it. It triggers us, it burns away, it makes us lighter so we can be the light out in the world. So we can invite the light through our vessel and be more in tune with our natural psychic gifts and our natural talents out in the world. So we have a lot easier of a flow later. That doesn't look fun though. But then Jupiter is going to be squaring the North Node. So there is some sort of stability coming in. And this could be through a close relationship, or there's some sort of destined direction. With Jupiter trining the North Node, there's like a fated relationship maybe coming in that's, just aligned like mind, body, spirit. And, they just give you this like deep support and like emotional support that you didn't know you even needed because Leos are used to like doing it on their own. There's just maybe this internal realization of this deeper, heavier shit that you recognize, like it looked back in the past and you're like, oh my God, like you kind of wish this like cry fest happened sooner and you were released of all that emotional gunk sooner because you wouldn't have been keeping yourself so small or like, keeping yourself like trapped in your own ways or whatever. And you recognize there's this like deep emotional core fulfillment. So you can like be so internally aligned, and magnetize in the right relationships and opportunities and support and everything that is really meant for you. But yeah, cleansing out the shadow, cleansing out the stuff that, really doesn't fit so you can, yeah, be in your own true alignment. And then Jupiter trine Saturn. So there it could be some sort of stability that really comes in monetarily. Maybe this is a solid contract that comes in. Maybe this is a really like beneficial mortgage that comes in, and you can, buy a house that's like way cheaper than you thought it would be, and you find, the right mortgage. Maybe some debts get forgiven. This could be like something that you've been working on for, with Saturn that's been in the eighth house for the last 2.5 years with this deep internal work and money that really gives you some sort of stability. Um, Financially, emotionally, something really solid really does come in later in when is it? November. So that's really nice. After some frustration, it is all worth it at the end of the day. And then you're kind of just comfortable, it's more like you can just be your authentic self out in the world and you don't have to try as hard, and you're getting rid of some of those blocks and those frustrations, and maybe there is a deep recognition of family and how fucked up they were, and like releasing all the wounds and going through that deep healing finally. It's funny, you can't really deeply heal until you are comfortable, and then you give yourself like, oh shit, like I'm not in survival anymore. So you can sit and face that shit and let yourself feel and recognize all the ways that you were acting out of survival, in the past and everything, and deeply cleanse and, release all of that. So don't be afraid to go deep and really feel your feelings. So you have this soulful recognition of what really matters to you with these with close connections, with home and family, with your creativity, and taking that seriously and not suppressing your creativity anymore. And letting the creativity flow, and who cares what the world says, and who cares who disapproves, like as long as you're aligned with your meaning and purpose and you know why you're doing something, and it is like to bring the light to the world, then you keep doing it, and fuck everybody else. Because Jupiter in the 12th house could totally bring out like hidden enemies, but who cares? So Leos always have enemies, I think. I actually only have two, and they are both addicted to cocaine. Can I even say that? Maybe that's why the cards flew all over. But anyway, who cares? Okay, so tenderness, true love, and compassion. This is a soulmate card too. So a deeper soul connection can come in that is like very caring. With Saturn finally in the ninth house, maybe you do meet, connections that are like, they do have like this belief system that's kind of more so in alignment with how you view the world, how you see the world, how you want to expand out in the world. And they can be, very solid and everything. So soulmate relationships can come in that, are spiritual with Neptune here, that are like very elevating, that do give you that love and compassion, and that will love all, parts of you, your shadow and your life. And power over difficulty came out. So you're reclaiming your power in a whole new way, where you thought something was hard, where you thought you had a struggle, where you and we're expecting that to just happen and happen and happen again and again and again. Maybe you're recognizing now, like you can flow in a very easy way, and you don't have to worry about, shit going to hell always, all the time. Um, with the Scorpio ruling the fourth house, or hero and villain origin story, because there's parts of life where you got to be the villain or the hero, and you're probably, in somebody's eyes, you're probably that one or that one, but it's not actually you. You're getting in tune with your own core. to really free yourself, to take action towards what's meant for you. Storm warning came out, so yeah, definitely an emotional storm on the horizon. And whatever's like maybe getting kicked out of your life, whatever like is shocking you and, making you like kind of awaken in a certain way, this could be definitely a big awakening. But whatever foundation gets like shocked, like maybe that is something that you were supposed to let go of. But you're getting your masculine and feminine into alignment, your yin and your yang. So you can recognize, you can easily flow towards your manifestations and your higher goals and your higher timeline. So you can just have a lot of ease and flow because whale came out. You're getting in touch with your deep soulful wisdom in a way that you didn't even know was possible. When Jupiter's in the 12th too, you can get really amazing psychic readings, and you are psychic yourself. You are getting in tune with that at a deep level, so you can rebirth. Cosmic egg, but it's not yet fully. Cosmic egg came out, so the new fully shedded version of you is going to reemerge after this, but you got to go through the process and let it happen and let yourself go through the emotional storm and not be too blocked off and recognize that. So let me read the whale. Okay, whale. Desire to delve deeper, profound peace, ancient wisdom. The whale represents profound emotional health and stability. Whale personalities are not afraid of emotional expression or traversing difficult terrain, as they have overcome many challenges in their life. These experiences have enriched them. They have. So, um, given them stability, strength, and depth that is rare, whale energy is usually linked to the feminine force of compassion and communication. We can depend on whale personalities when all else seems lost and trust them to be the beacon in our darkest hour. So, yeah, you're getting in touch with that deep feminine wisdom and that ancient wisdom. If you let yourself go deep, if you let yourself, dive deep and find that profound peace within and realize that all the stuff that you went through did lead to did lead to just all that wisdom that you really do need, so you can spread that to others. So you're not just like shiny out here and just like whatever, like you actually do have the wisdom to back it up, to share, to really like help people because you deeply understand. And we're getting into that deeper knowledge of us so we can recognize our deep emotional understanding that we do have, so we can give that to the world through art, through whatever way. And so we can release the old story too. We don't need to let that trap us. We are releasing that. And we're just recognizing that calm and steadiness that we can have always in any situation. And let me read Power Over Difficulty because I want to read that. Or let me read The Storm because, yeah. Yeah, because I've never read The Storm before and I want to see. Okay, storm warning, clouds on the horizon. This card indicates a potential difficulty either in the external world or within yourself or your emotional life. This difficulty is coming closer, and you may have already heard rumblings of potential problems around you. The caution here is to be conscious, not yet fearful. Consider what's going on and look at the situation with calm and clarity. Investigate your options and honor yourself and intentions. Stand up for yourself and take action on your own behalf. With all difficulty, even the worst storm passes. Always remember you have the power and wisdom to handle whatever may come your way. Affirmation: I have the power to overcome any obstacle, no matter what is going on. I can be strong, confident, and self-directed. Yep. Leos, I think you're meant to definitely be like, just calm in the storm because you've been through it. You've been through all sorts of situations, and that is actually going to be your superpower in the new era when there is a lot of chaos going on. you can be the calm. And let me read Power Over Difficulty because I haven't read this one either. Okay. Reclaiming your power. This card brings you to a warning that there are situations, people, or patterns in your life threatening to take over. A snake can be venomous, tempting, or even strangling. This card is an important reminder to be honest with yourself and investigate your relationships and your daily activities to determine what might be harmful or dishonoring you, or even be consuming you. If someone is bringing a toxic energy into your life, it may be necessary to let that person go or at least reduce your exposure dramatically. If a situation seems to be suffocating you or sapping your sense of freedom and enthusiasm, it's time to rethink your motivation for remaining engaged. And if you're feeling a building resentment for a job, a personal task, this card is telling you to learn how to bring more conscious joy to the experience or even exit it altogether. Also, be mindful of all your personal patterns. Consider the cause of your making and the result that you're creating. You don't want to become the snake that eats its own tail, consuming your own life for sabotaging your own desire to move forward. Yet always remember the indomitable strength of your inner spirit. And true life force represents here by the swans who, in spite of their gentle beauty, are very powerful creatures capable of striking anything that attacks. You have the power as well. And this card is telling you to strike out at your own self-sabotaging patterns. This is the area of self-sabotage. So and to break free from any of the limiting influences holding you down, become conscious and courageous in your own ongoing choices. You have the power now. Affirm. I release toxic people and patterns from my life. I empower myself in my choices and my relationships. Because, yeah, if you're not on your Dharma timeline, Saturn's going to bitch slap you and be like, why are you hanging out with these people? Why do you keep on wasting all your time and energy towards helping them out if they're not helping themselves? Why are you being toxic still? Why are you not manifesting and being the ultimate creator of your life? You will get bitch slapped and and the storm will happen. You will have to awaken in a crazy way. So you do like go in the direction that you're meant to go in. So you do go through this transformation, although we've already been going through it. So I have faith that most of us are already doing it. And have more tenderness, love, and compassion for yourself and others, but recognize your ability to set boundaries at the same time. All right, Leo, very exciting. Hopefully it's not as dramatic as usual. Hi, Virgo. Oh, so this is a really fun one for you. Jupiter in the 11th house. This has to do with your hopes and your dreams and your visions for the future. This is expanding where you want to go next. What's the next big dream? How can you take things to the next level? You could be receiving some career gains, some sort of reward, like more money coming in, getting a raise, getting a promotion. This is also expanding your friends and your groups and your networks. And relationships are going to be a lot easier. Jupiter was not easy, scoring Saturn in the 7th. So that was making things a little bit more challenging. But now it's like you're meeting the right people and you could be meeting a lot more people. And you could easily meet, a soulmate connection that, pushes you in a fated direction that's just nice and has a nice flow and it's very abundant and there's a lot of growth. So don't be afraid to meet new friends, do something new, go to social events, stuff like that, because you can meet somebody very significant. And this could be romantic, this could be friendships, this could be clients. This is also a great time to kind of expand your outreach. You could have a social media boost when Jupiter's in your 11th. And come up with like really brilliant marketing strategies so you can extend your reach and meet the right people. And the North Node is like, that's the fated, destined direction that you're going in anyway. So doing that is really beneficial. If you want to put your business online, this is going to be a good time to do it. If you wanted to start a business, this is a good time to do it also. Okay, and Jupiter is going to be squaring Saturn. So this is a little uncomfortable. With Jupiter squaring Saturn, there's could be some sort of responsibilities, some sort of commitments that you're already tied to, and you're just kind of realizing how that's kind of blocking the way you want to expand out into the world. Because, yeah, Jupiter is ready to expand to the dreams, and Saturn's like, wait, what about this? Like, and this could be some sort of previous commitment, some contracts that you have, some, maybe you need to have those deeper conversations with a certain relationship. So you recognize who takes on what, who has what responsibilities, and there's a need to renegotiate contracts and renegotiate how you merge with people and whose time and energy is going where, and where's your time and energy going, and finds, a middle ground. So it's a little frustrating, and it might hit a little bit of a trigger too, because it's, this is the healing house. So it can bring up some, deeper fears, deeper anxieties, deeper shame, guilt, deeper ways that you suppressed or didn't share, like those deeper feelings that like might feel uncomfortable because it has to be brought up now and maybe talked about. And it could be definitely talked about like with the right relationships. If you talk more about the shadow and what you've been suppressing and the conversations that you just have been putting off because they've been uncomfortable to have, where it's got to be brought up now, and you can have those conversations and really get aligned in the right relationships. And then you'll see like, okay, this relationship is built to last, and this relationship will last the test of time. And you can, be more solid, and more in love and everything moving forward. But Jupiter represents your fourth house and your seventh house. So it is a deeper conversation or a heavier responsibility with where you're possibly living, or, maybe family members just are triggering. And, there's something that needed to be purged and released about, whatever you were hanging on to. Maybe you were hanging on to a resentment that you didn't even know about. But this could remove a lot of those internal blocks that you didn't even know were there, that were stopping you from expanding to the next level out in the world. But yeah, it's steam, it's triggering, it'll trigger it, it'll bring it to the surface. So you face it, so you can really look at it and evolve forward. And yeah, this is maybe you decide to reallocate your money. Maybe you do want to live in a certain place, but you gotta make more money so you can, but that's the goal now. Now you know what to work towards, and now you know what your overall dream is. And you can really decide to work for that and take on the responsibilities for that. Let's see, what else is the eighth house? Yeah, could be challenges with like money and friendships. Yeah. So be careful with that, just challenges with friendships, and maybe there's a need to evolve out of certain friendships. And yeah. Okay, but then after that, realignment, there's a lot of expansion. So Jupiter's going to be trining the North Node, where it's like, okay, that frustration because somebody needed to be cut out, my time and energy wasn't being valued there, so I needed to put it here. And whatever redirection that was, it's like, okay, there's a reward right away. You're feeling aligned. You're feeling like you're going a destined path. You're aligned with your hopes and your dreams and the right people. And there's just this expansion, and it feels so good, and it feels like it's destined, and you could be seeing a lot of signs and synchronicities and just magic happening, and everything feels like it's working out after that frustration. And then Jupiter's going to be trining Saturn. So there's some sort of stability after all this work and patience that you've had to have when it comes to certain relationships. Like maybe it just felt like there was blocks, and you just had to put in a lot of work to try to reach through to them, and maybe they weren't hearing it. Maybe they were lost in their own thing because Saturn was, or Neptune was here. And, now you can see clearly too. Without Neptune here, you can see relationships a lot clearer. And Jupiter trine Saturn, it's like, yeah, now you're being rewarded with, the real ride or dies, and like who's really solid and who you can grow to the next level with. And there's some sort of karmic rewards, and you can even meet somebody actually around that time, which is November 11th, 11/11. Ooh, or get married like around that. That's a great day to get married, I think, overall. I'd have to look at the chart a little bit more, but I mean, Jupiter trine Saturn, like, yeah. There could be a solid relationship just entering your life around that time, and you're like, there's some sort of familiarity, like it's a strong soul connection where you probably have been married in a past life, and now you're like, oh, there you are, because that's kind of how those soul connections go. And yeah, there's just some sort of growth and abundance socially. And yeah, and it could be with clients, it could be romantic, it could be friendships, all kinds. So yeah, that'll be nice. Let's see. Let's pull some cards. So really plant those seeds with where you want to expand to, have your connect to your vision of where you want to go. Where's that bigger overall direction with where you want to go? Because also the 11th house is like breaking out of the box in a whole new way. Sometimes you move to a completely different part of the world. Sometimes you hang out with a completely different group. Sometimes you, I don't know, just breaking out of the box in a major way. I think this is a great, area of life for channeling too, being able to channel in a stronger, crazier way, in touch with a lot more dimensions. And yeah, so twin flame came out. So a soul partner, eternal connection, definitely coming in. And this is good. This is like, maybe it's a little scary even because going towards the North Node is scary. And but you're recognizing your power when it comes to relationships. And you've been doing a lot of releasing of the old self and the old identities and what doesn't fit you anymore. So you can go towards these soul fully aligned connections and find a lot of growth and abundance and that deeper fulfillment within, with these connections. So twin flame came out. I mean, this totally could be like a twin flame awakening with Jupiter squaring Saturn and Neptune in the north. Yeah, Saturn and Neptune with this water and going through a major Kundalini awakening because Neptune in the eighth house is already kind of like a Kundalini awakening. So maybe a connection comes into your life and it just awakens you, and that's how it goes. You get obsessed, you're addicted to their energy, and you think the energy is coming from them. And the feminine energy, especially, it feels like you're like on ecstasy without being on ecstasy, without the calm down or anything. So it's kind of like very, very exciting, but it's very intense and the energy does shoot up, then it comes back down. There's the dark night of the soul and everything. But, it makes you into that highest version of yourself. So, and maybe some of you went through it and maybe you guys make progress with your twin flame. Who knows? Let's see. I mean, it totally looks like you could, like with this kind of lineup happening. So yeah, tenderness, true love and compassion. It's funny because it's like twin flame card came out and the soulmate card came out. So like true, like tenderness, compassion, and true love. So definitely a soulmate connection coming, but twin flame possibly too. So love is happening either way. But through reclaiming your power, these relationships are coming to you, so you reclaim your power. Ultimately, because that's what the most powerful, that's just the relationships we're in moving forward. We're in these strong soul connections, and that help us grow and evolve and become our most authentic selves. So yeah, it's making you release all the ways that you were anxious about all the tiny little details about how you weren't letting yourself be empowered. Actually, with Aries in the eighth house, like that's the house of merging with people. And maybe there's certain ways that you merge with people that wasn't in the highest expression. That it could have been from like anxieties, and maybe you took on too much responsibility too in the relationships, but you're getting empowered. Third chakra came out. Um, so your sacral chakra definitely going through a metamorphosis, and that's where this is what's going through the mutation in the next couple of years. So you're definitely going through it. So you lead your life more so from how you want to feel and being empowered that way. Getting that it's all about I am and how you want to feel and how you can be the most empowered version of yourself. And yeah, release the anxiety about fully stepping into your power. So I love that. I wanted to read the hummingbird. Twin flame, soulmate connection. It's about you at the end of the day. Do not obsess the entire time that Saturn's in the eighth house. Because, yeah, even though there's a part of the journey where you literally have no option, that is the journey. So, hang on for those of you going through that, because it's like you enter heaven and hell at the same time. Okay, so hummingbird, positive enthusiasm, positively enthusiastic, spiritually resourceful. Inside the tiny hummingbird resides an endless well of energy and positivity. The hummingbird's secret is that it has learned where to gather nectar, and it returns to the sources daily for nourishment and rejuvenation. This sacred elixir springs us from many sources, but usually involves nature, creativity, and exploring spirituality. Follow the way of the hummingbird, and you cannot go wrong. Every droplet of life becomes sweet. Every moment becomes worth savoring. So when in balance, smart, curious, loves to learn. When out of balance, pushy, insistent, sharp, bring into balance by taking a class. Yeah. So do a deep dive into yourself with this eighth house stuff going on. Because that will make you powerful out in the world with where you're going. But as long as you know thyself in a very powerful way, you can, dive deep into the deep esoteric knowledge of astrology or human design or gene keys. That's my favorite one right now. So you can really like become like that true core self and love all parts of yourself and release any anxiety and living in the present moment more so versus over planning and over analyzing and certain things that Virgo can get stuck in every now and then. But there's strong soulmate connections of love, pure unconditional love that are opening up your world. So you do that. Okay, very exciting. I mean, that's so rare for the twin flame card and a soulmate card to come out at the same time. Like these are the only two love cards in this deck, um, by the way. So very exciting. Love that for you. All right. Thank you so much, Virgo. Oh my God, Libra, here we are, and you are my last one. I am very excited. Okay, so Jupiter in your 10th house, there is growth, there is abundance, there is ease happening with your career. There was probably a lot of frustration or just a lot of responsibility and being all over the place when it comes to your career and where are you going? How can you evolve, when it comes to the daily life and your work? And your daily life was just a little sloshy and all over the place anyway. But now, Jupiter in your 10th house, it's like, okay, like here's the rewards now. So there can be definitely money coming your way. You can receive a raise or a promotion or okay, Libra. So there's some overall. Okay. So there's some You could be getting a promotion, a raise. If you want to switch your job, this is the time to do it. And you could, really go after that ideal job that is really meant for you. And yeah, you're just being elevated. And at the same time, you're kind of looking at the next long-term goal, the next dream, the next opportunity. Maybe you do want to start your own business. Maybe you do want to elevate to the next level if you own your own business. But yeah, you're gonna have a lot of luck and opportunity with like people coming your way and just things coming your way and everything kind of going right um in out in the world. And this is gonna be a great time to meet people too, that just could be really significant in your life, help you expand. Jupiter also rules your third house, so your mentality is doing better too, and you're kind of just shining out in the world. After Jupiter was in the ninth house, you were feeling good about expanding into a direction with more meaning and purpose in life. And now it's like, okay, now it's time to shine out in the world and also just work doing a lot better in your everyday life and health and routines because Jupiter is in better condition now. Okay, so Jupiter's going to be squaring Saturn and Neptune in Aries. So there's going to be a lot of frustration when it comes to some sort of relationship, and this could be a client, this could be your romantic relationship, this could be yeah, a friendship, any or family member, any one-on-one relationship that you've been possibly needing to confront, but you've been putting it off or something. And now it's time to really face it and really see who's aligned and who's not aligned, because you want to look at the next overall direction that you're growing and evolving into. And relationships are going to feel a bit heavier. Saturn in the seventh house, it's like there's a responsibility with relationships. There might be some sort of responsibility that you have to take on for the relationship. Saturn does rule the fourth house and fifth house, so it could just be extra responsibility with kids. But there is just a need to confront things, talk about things. Structures are shifting and changing overall. So you can kind of like find the way that you can be the most empowered in these relationships. And my thing for Libra, because Libra, you are all about relationships. Like you put the relationship first. So the thing is, the most powerful thing is checking in with the relationships and see if they are reflecting the love that you have for yourself. It's very important for a Libra to self-love, self-care, and treat yourself, and see if they do the same. Do they step up and do that for you? Do they, want to take on the challenge with you? Like, don't just jump in and take on all the responsibility and, all of that and the heaviness. And you got to make sure, especially with Neptune here, because you might not be seeing fully clearly. So you can have rose-colored glasses and you can put them up on a pedestal. So it's very important that you check in and recognize how you're being treated in the relationship, and are they treating you with the love and the care that you do give to yourself? Because yeah, if they're not, then it's like, oh, okay, so maybe like you should free yourself, So you can have, just the most aligned relationships that help you evolve and expand in the best way possible. So this is steam. Like, this looks a little frustrating in June, needing to confront things, needing to talk about things. When Saturn's in the seventh house too, it just kind of feels like there's a block sometimes. You just can't get through, and you just have to like maybe talk to a counselor, maybe talk to an astrologer, talk to somebody with your relationship if you really want to take it to the next level, if you really want to commit. And then the dream can happen too at the same time. Maybe you do have those conversations about where are we going long term, because the 10th house is marriage too. Like, maybe you do want to get married and maybe you do want to commit more, and it's time to talk. And you know um there's intensity and obsession with love anyway. So, there's going to be a need to go through some sort of evolution with love. So, really like having those talks and going a little bit deeper. And yeah, really renegotiating possibly with who takes on what responsibilities. And it could be around the home, it could be, yeah. And then after that, it could be that could have been some sort of redirection with the right relationships, the right friendships. Like, who do you want to spend your time and energy on, and who do you want to take seriously? The divine could boot, the wrong relationships out of your life and make it blatantly obvious, like who's working and who's not working. So you prioritize yourself and where you're going. And then Jupiter makes a trine to the North Node. So there's some sort of just nice, easy flow when it comes to work in your everyday life again. And, if you did have to talk with your significant other about who takes on what responsibilities, now it seems like it's really balanced around the house or whatever. And yeah, or this could be talking with a coworker and you needed to have a conversation with the boss and have those conversations. So there's an abundant flow moving forward. Jupiter trine the North Node. It's like, okay, this is, nice towards, with your everyday life. And now there's like just an easy flow of abundance and work, and it's all going well after that frustration. And then Jupiter trining Saturn in the sixth house, it's like, okay, you've taken on a lot of work, you worked your ass off, you've taken on a lot of responsibility, you've put in that effort for the past 2.5 years when it comes to work. And then there's going to be some sort of reward, and it could be a very significant reward that leads to some sort of foundation, with abundance, with what you do in your everyday life and work that, really allows you to take it to the next level. And this could also be with your health and your diet and your routines, that it's like, oh, there's a significant progress, and now I can shine even more so out in the world. And it's like, exciting with that. And yeah, okay, so I love that. So let's pull some cards for Libra and see what's going on. Summoning power, instincts, intellect, control. Yeah, you're kind of summoning a lot of your natural feminine power to see how you can kind of flow through life again, I think, and flow to abundance. Um, Intellect, yeah, it's very Libra risings are always like the natural like caretakers, in the office, in out in the world. It could be at work, it could be just with home and family, could be, yeah, wherever, but you are the natural caretakers, and you just have these natural instincts with how you can naturally flow out in the world and receive the most abundance. Oh, I love this. So yeah, setting boundaries. You might hit some sort of threshold where you need to set some boundaries with somebody. Threshold, protection, honor. Recognize it is for your protection, though. Where if there is a boundary being needs to be set, like it is for your highest good, and just it'll make it clear like where the boundaries need to go. Angelic assistant, divine guidance, loving support. So if you feel like you're alone or whatever, you need support, you're never alone. There's always like help on the other side. And this is like angelic assistant for material security, because the six is on there, and that's like material security versus like spiritual security. So it looks like you're getting both. You're getting like higher messages to create that material foundation that is really meant for you. Okay, so yeah, you might run into some connections. There are caring connections, and caring connections want to come in for you and be really supportive. But you're going to recognize like who's envious of you, like who, you have this big, direction of the light and where you want to go with Uranus entering the ninth house too. It's fun, spontaneous, like go on your Dharma timeline in such a random, exciting way. But there might be somebody who's envious, who's like kind of keeping you small. or keeping you dimmed down and keeping you like just, subtle, like with Pluto in the fifth house, sometimes there's like subtle ways of manipulation and you don't really know until you know. And then you're like, oh, like, and then you see like the person's pattern of like, oh yeah, they're kind of supportive, but no, they're really like not. And they're just kind of passive, manipulative. But you'll see that kind of, there will be some people that are envious of your light and the ways that you can naturally expand. And, yeah, they want to hide in the shadows and they don't want, to rise out into the light without them. So recognize maybe where that might be happening and where you can set some boundaries with that and honor that bigger direction that you're being called in. But hummingbird came out. So that's really nice. Recognizing again your ability to just navigate the world and kind of, hop to one thing to another, to be in the present moment, know where you're kind of needed to shine out in the world. Because zebra came out. So it's like asking you to embolden more of your authenticity and your creative power and let it, kind of be a strength of yours. Okay. Is there any of these cards that I kind of want to read? I'll read Carrying Connections because I think you guys usually care about that one the most. So let's see. Okay, Caring Connections, friendship, partnership of two, possibly love upright. This card shows a couple in a tender embrace with the woman holding the blossoms of new love. Like the community card, this reveals a caring connection, but usually between two people only. This card upright signals the beginning or deepening of a kindred spirit friendship, or even the appearance of new love. It can also signify a formal business partnership. When this card appears, be on the lookout for new connections presenting themselves. The relationships you already share may become more intimate, purposeful, or present at this time. Notice the opportunities to forge new, deeper bonds. There may be tender karmic connections at hand. So yeah, there's going to be deeper connections either way. And, either way, they're going to be triggering. And it's all about how you kind of have those conversations and evolve in them. And also, but also at the same time, embracing your free spirit in your ability to kind of navigate in the present moment and being flexible. All right. Thank you so much, Libra. If you would like a reading, check out my link down below.